Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Garage Talk Sports. I'm Mills.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Nick.
And we are not in the garage. We had to once again go to our alternate location. It is just too hot out lately.
It is roasting.
Yeah. It is pushing 100.
Pool's open, by the way. I finally put the ladder in. So.
All right, bet. We're going to pool party at Nick's, everybody.
Podcast from the pool.
We'll put the address in the bio of this next video. No one's going to watch it, Nick. It's okay.
The 6 people that watch
are
going to show up.
It'll make it a party then. No, but we had to go to our alternate location. Just too hot to be in that garage this time. So yeah. I'm still rocking the tank, though, because I'm still warm.
Yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row, man.
Yeah, I like tank tops. I'm a tank top guy.
We're the Jersey bros over here.
Yeah, I know. You guys sit on the same couch. You're on the casting couch.
I'm pretty sure Bobby's wearing a jersey that got a guy that doesn't play for the team.
That Wilson? No, that's your Contreras.
Yeah, no.
That's Arrieta jersey.
Arrieta, man.
Yeah. Even worse.
My guy plays. He just hasn't played in a while.
Yeah.
Who is
he has a ruptured testicle.
I should.
Right?
No, not this time.
Oh, no. What is
it? This before. He just has a leg thing.
Third leg thing, right?
Well, no,
no, but anyways, we got a fun episode for you guys. As always, we kick off with our hotspot, but MLB All-Star Game. I'm kind of glad we postponed recording to fit in the All-Star Game, as well as some NFL news that broke out today as well. Yep. So we're gonna, we'll cover that, and then we have Nick's question of the week. So, and then as always, whatever the hell we fill the rest of the show with, we kind of digress. You guys know that already.
True.
But we'll lead off with the hot spots. I haven't gone first yet, I think, this entire time. So I'll go first with this one because all that's been over my news feed on Twitter, Facebook, it's the Madden rankings. And as always, every year there's snubs, people that should be ranked higher, cough, cough, Roquan Smith. But, I kind of want to just shout out Madden for once again getting it wrong. I do appreciate that you continue to sleep on certain players, cough, cough, Roquan Smith. 89 overall, Roquan.
Yeah.
I think that has him as the 7th ranked linebacker. I'm sorry. No, he should, in my opinion, I get it. I'm going to say he should be at least a 90, which is only 1 point higher than an 89. But it's like 89 to 90. It's the same as when a dude's 5'11 to 6 feet. Being able to put that 6'0" looks a lot better than the 5'11". I would know. All right. I would know.
Yeah. 5'6".
5'6" over here. No, but it just frustrates me. I think this is like his third year. Or second or third year at an 89 overall, and he's just every year, man. They sleep on him as an All-Pro. He should have been an All-Pro by now, but once again doesn't get it. Don't know why.
And T.J. Watt.
T.J. Watt's another one. Jamar, the big two though. Honestly, the big two that really bothered me were Jamar Chase is only an 82 overall. I don't get it. Yes, sure, he was a rookie, and so you're gonna have that whole, it's only 1 year. He's got to do it consistently.
I don't think he's going to be as good as people talk, but I still think he's better than 82.
He should at least, in my opinion, he should at least be an 85. I think 85 is a fair rating for him.
Yeah, bare minimum.
Like that's the bare minimum. Maybe you don't give him a 90, but he should at least be an 85. And then Darnell Mooney, in my opinion, should be at least, Nick, I think you said 81 at one point. He should be a low 80. 79, I think is a little disrespectful, but then again, he's a Bears player, just like Roquan, so they get slept on as always. And then another guy that kind of bothered me, Khalil Mack, 92 or something like that, 92 or 93 overall. I get Khalil Mack's good, but
he's been injured.
And that's in my opinion, that's a legacy rating more than like the current what have you done for us now rating. Khalil Mack, don't get me wrong, he's a very phenomenal athlete. But he just hasn't played enough games to justify continuing to keep him as, I think that puts him as the number 4 ranked edge rusher, outside linebacker, whatever they want to call it.
It's like the J.J. Watt,
They ranked him higher than Joey Bosa, barely. Joey Bosa, I think, is a 91. Khalil Mack is a 92 or 93. But it's just like, to me, that's a legacy rating thing. And Madden is known for doing that.
Yeah, because J.J. Watt every year is like a high 90s.
Yeah, J.J. Watt is always rated really high.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of frustrated me. Madden continues to get it wrong every year. And then what's his face? Jalen Ramsey. He's a 98. I feel like you can make the case for him to be a 99 at this point, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like I just. But
to me, it's like
nitpicky.
The number doesn't matter. It's just like where you base them versus like other players. Like for the longest time, nobody of a current player for NBA was a 99, and then eventually they put like Steph Curry was 99 because his 3-point shooting was so good. and LeBron James. And it's like, okay, well now we have those like Kevin Durant finally passed that threshold like a couple years ago. So it's like now you have these guys who are 99. So where it's like Devontae Adams is 99 because he's the best wide receiver, maybe outside of DeAndre Hopkins, but he's still been the most consistent.
Yes.
So it's like Jalen Ramsey, same thing. He's been such a good cornerback for so long. Just give him a 99. Like giving him that one extra point, it doesn't really matter.
99 rating.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing here? Giving him a 98.
What is Justin Tucker? If Justin Tucker said, see, he should be 99. Because what does it
the
matter?
The highest rated running back is Derrick Henry at 97.
That's true.
And then I think it's Christian McCaffrey. Or no, Nick Chubb 96, McCaffrey 95. JT,
see, like, that's my whole thing is like I don't understand why Justin Tucker is a 99. Like I understand he's a kicker, but give him 99 for a kicker. His leg power is.
Why are we factoring in his hit power, block shedding? Like
his leg power has to be one of the highest in the NFL. Like he can probably kick one of the farthest, and his accuracy should be a 99.
That's the thing that kills me with the Madden ratings is like, you'll go and you can make a kicker who's 99 everything for kicking stats, and they're at most going to be like an 82 because for whatever reason on a kicker we care about their speed, we care about their tackling ability, their hit power. Block shedding, play recognition. Dude, I just need the man to kick the ball hard and accurately. Like, is that too, like, after, if he can do both of those things really well, he should be really high.
I want to say one of the only punchers to ever be a 99 is Pat McAfee.
Well, it's because he could tackle.
That's true.
That's probably what the difference was.
That was a
His
huge
tackling was, instead of being like the 22 that it is for other kickers, he was probably like 50. True. And they're like, boom.
Did anyone see what they gave Josh Allen?
The defensive player or the quarterback?
The quarterback. I just want to like.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't believe the quarterback rankings are out yet.
Okay, because I want to know like if like after these.
I
2
imagine
good years,
it's gonna be Aaron Rodgers ranked number 1.
Yeah, probably.
Probably Tom Brady number 2 or 3.
No, Mahomes 2.
I think Allen's gonna rank higher than him.
I think I would say Allen be 3. But then again, they get to the weird thing where like Lamar's running ability is going to be so much better. Is he going to be higher than Josh Allen just because he can run?
The Madden ratings get goofy.
I feel like Josh Allen's been snubbed the last couple of years. Like he deserves to be in the 90s.
I mean, I feel like the NFL has just been snubbing Josh Allen.
Josh Allen should be at least a 90.
He's soon going to be a Carolina Panther though. They're working their way through that draft class.
That's right. He's next on the list.
They will have Josh Allen.
I don't know the odds though.
2 to 3 years.
They're going to have to dump his contract to the Panthers. No, but that's why I give credit to games like FIFA and MLB. We talk about MLB the show a lot. I love favorite sports game. I think it's the best made sports game. But their ratings are they do not care about what your legacy is.
No.
Their ratings I think are pretty fair and
Chris
unbiased.
Davis, when he went 0 for 52, dropped from like a 90 overall to like a 61 in the matter of 2 weeks.
Their live updates, they are no joke. It's like, all right, listen, dude, you sucked for a week, and guess what? You're going to go from diamond status to barely flirting with gold down there at an 80 overall.
Yep.
But their ratings are pretty fair. FIFA's the same thing, but it's a little different when those are 2 games that are so heavily based around their ultimate team mode.
Yeah.
Where Madden's ratings their ultimate team ratings are different from just their normal ratings, but everyone focused on their normal ratings. So just wanted to throw some shade because Madden continues to disappoint me.
But hopefully,
mostly for the Roquan hate and sleeping.
That's true. But hopefully this year's different.
And it's probably just going to be the same.
No, I've given up on the Madden. I've given up on the Madden franchise, dude. I bought last year's game because I got bored one time. I was like, you know what? I really kind of want to do my career in the NFL again. And I did it and was like, why on earth did I buy this game again?
I only buy Madden games and I usually buy them a year after they've come out just because I want the newer players. Because I'm like, man, I'm playing with Drew Brees when he was at 99 overall and the Saints are the best team in the game.
It's like I'm over here on Madden 13 with Peyton Manning and I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
No, I'm done with Madden. I've given up on that game. They're sorry. They're not good anymore. It's just the same thing every time. At least MLB, when it's pretty similar every year, it's a good game. Madden just sucks.
Yeah.
And now they got this new thing with their throw. They try to do too much, man.
They do. They really do. But, I mean, that's why EA doesn't have FIFA anymore.
That's true.
That's right. I was going to say, when I mentioned FIFA, they lost FIFA, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So hopefully they put all their focus on Madden, and it's not
Is another developer picking up FIFA, or is FIFA just done?
I think another developer.
Okay.
But I think they just lost.
Because I saw it. The cover athlete is I think some girl in Chelsea's women's club.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
First of all, I
you-
love
you-
FIFA the game. I hate soccer the sport.
Oh,
so
I
have no
don't
idea.
follow soccer very much at all. But I don't know her name because I don't follow soccer very much. But she's on Chelsea's women's football club.
Mia Hamm. I'm just kidding. She was on the
Okay.
women's soccer team in like 2000.
But everyone's like, what is this? Really? We're going to put a girl on there? I'm like, dude, come on. I actually kind of think it's cool.
Yeah.
Personally. Just like if 2K decided to go with a WNBA player, I'd have no issue with it. Brittany Griner, anybody?
I mean, you could win Candace Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't send the message to Russia that we need it to.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're right.
that's true.
Yeah, Vladimir Putin's definitely watching this podcast,
Yeah,
so
right.
glad you pulled
No,
him out.
he's playing 2K. It's about how he's playing 2K, not watching
True.
us.
He'll see that.
Probably playing with the Russian national
really-
team. It's like a 60 overall.
Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I really don't care about the cover athlete thing at all.
Yeah, no.
I'll care if it's a player on one of my favorite teams.
I only care about Madden.
I want him to be the cover athlete.
I only care about Madden because I want to know who's going to get hurt that season. And that's about
The
it.
Madden curse doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't. John
It
Madden.
retired with Megatron.
No, I think Antonio Brown.
Oh yeah, you know what?
I
Antonio.
think that totally wins it.
that was more, but that wasn't just an injury bug, dude. That was like mental status.
Yeah,
That was,
that was-
sustained injury of Montez Burfict. Just
Yeah, that was
constantly
the
drilling him
Oh
in the
my
head.
gosh, I forgot Antonio Brown was a cover athlete. That was like Madden 25.
No, that was Madden 19.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And then 2020 was Mahomes, then he got hurt. And then I don't know who the cover athlete was for 21. I think it was Josh Allen, wasn't it?
No, it was Lamar. Lamar was
Lamar,
the cover athlete.
And he
yeah.
got hurt last year.
Did he get hurt?
No, then 2022 was.
Oh, he did miss some games last year.
Was Tom Brady and Mahomes.
Yeah.
So I
Because
mean,
they did some weird thing there.
No, that was 2020.
no, it was 2022.
No, it was last year's game.
Yeah.
It was
Really?
both of them. Yeah.
He was
yeah,
a cover athlete
I
2
wa-
years after.
I wasted my money and bought it. So
Yeah.
And Lamar was 21
Yeah.
or whatever the order was. I
Yeah.
can't keep up. Okay.
But it's going to be John Madden this year, where he's probably not going to get hurt, seeing as he's sadly
up.
passed away and he doesn't play football anymore.
Okay, so we'll throw it to Nick for your hot spot this week. That seems like a good place to
Yeah,
have
probably
a
good.
conversation.
Mine is this whole the whole Mickey Mouse ring situation. The Atlanta Braves mascot threw shade at the Dodgers. They posted something of him outside Dodger Stadium for the All-Star game, and all the words capitalized spelled out Mickey Mouse ring if you took out all the other letters, because the Braves lost to them in 2020 when they ended up winning. And I just don't understand it. Like, it's a shortened season, but everyone's playing that shortened season. It's the same playoff format. And the stupidest thing about the Braves mascot posting that is they were up 3-1 on the Dodgers and lost a 3-1 lead. And then the Dodgers won.
Right.
And same thing with everyone's saying that about like LeBron's ring in LA doesn't count. It still counts. The only time it doesn't count is if you got the expanded playoff for that reason and you were the team that ended up winning. Because then the only reason you won that is because they changed the rules.
Correct me if I'm wrong. In the NBA bubble that year, that was 2020, were fans allowed in the stadium?
Yes.
In the bubble?
Fans that they chose to pick from like the Disney campus, ESPN campus, and then family from the team.
Okay. And that was all isolated in Orlando, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Were fans allowed in the World Series in 2020?
Yes. But that was played just at Houston's new ballpark. So it was a neutral site, but
Was it Houston or Texas? Texas had the new ballpark. Houston's still in the same ballpark.
yeah,
So it's Texas.
It was a Texas Rangers new
So
stadium.
neutral site. So I can see why people would diminish it, because I've said time and time again that home field advantage is a very real thing, especially in a sport like the NBA, because of how close court, like the fans are right there with you.
Yeah, you're in your ear on a 3-pointer, which is the closest you're ever going to be.
You're
in
really like the NBA and hockey are the two sports where I feel like atmosphere of the stadium and home ice, home court is a big deal because of how close the fans are to the game. So I could see the argument there against LeBron. You're in the bubble, limited fan access. It's not like you're traveling. You don't have to go into the lake. You don't have to go into Staples Center and win in the Staples Center, just like they don't have to go into wherever the Heat play and win at wherever the Heat play. Same thing applies for the MLB. The thing is, though, if the playoff format doesn't change, then I kind of can see. Then it's like the lockout season in 2013 for the NHL. The Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup. Everyone's like, oh, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. No. Everyone plays.
No.
Everyone played six.
No.
Everyone played the same amount of games that year. They didn't change the playoff format to make it like it was still 7-game best of 7 series.
Yeah.
It's not like they went, okay, now it's the lockout happened, it's a best of 5 series, or it's COVID, so it's best of 5. If they do that, total asterisk.
Yeah.
Because that's a complete shakeup of the format. But I could see the argument both ways. But at the same time, it also, like, if you say the Braves went on to win the World Series, they're not calling it a Mickey Mouse ring.
No. You only call that if like
lose.
The Mariners never made the playoffs that year, so it's like no Mariners fans are calling it a Mickey Mouse ring. It's just people who lost.
Only
that.
losers say it.
And the stupidest thing is, would you call every NCAA champion a Mickey Mouse ring? Because that's technically what it is. The neutral site against 2 teams playing where mostly your fans are going to be there.
No,
it's like you're in the same situation as the other team. Now, if they played in LA, so that LA was all in their own home state, like home thing,
right.
Like that would change it. But the whole bubble in Orlando, they were all in the hotel. They couldn't be in there. Like even the Heat players who lived maybe 3 hours away and could be like, I want to go home for the weekend.
The only thing I would say is you have better odds of Heat fans being there than Lakers fans for that.
Yeah.
Which would work in favor of the argument for the Lakers in that case.
Yeah, you would think. I'm just thinking because like it's they played the same way.
Yeah.
So don't take away their ring. Like they still won.
No, that's the thing. Only losers take away from it because they lost.
Yeah.
It's like I said with the Blackhawks. I have friends who are Red Wings fans. The Blackhawks eliminated the Red Wings in the playoffs. None of them were going to complain and be like, oh, it doesn't really count as a championship because it was a lockout shortened season. No, that's only something that teams or fans of teams that lost and teams that lost say, yeah, go ahead and team me, by the way, Nick. I'll take one.
Oh, I got you guys.
I'll take one too.
Cool. Thanks for passing that over there, Bob.
Sorry.
But no, that's what losers say.
Yeah.
That is.
That's loser energy, scumbag energy. I'm not here for it. I like the Braves. Personally, I like them more than the Dodgers. But come on, let's get off our high horses here. If the Braves would have won it, they're not tweeting out, look at our Mickey Mouse rings. No, they're celebrating that they won a World Series.
Very true. My hotspot this week got nothing to do with sports.
Cool, that's cool. Beef talked about Netflix stock
That's true.
dropping.
We all talked about movies that day, except for Bobby.
Yeah, that's true. Bobby brought us back.
Peaky Blinders, man. Season 6 dropped. I finished it.
Good, right?
Dude, it was amazing, man.
I got some stuff to
that
talk
show.
to you about afterwards without Nick, since he just said he hasn't started it. I won't spoil it for you. Yeah. Personally, all-time favorite TV show. Huge Peaky Blinders fan.
Dude, I love
dressed up like that for formal.
Jordy bought a suit too.
Nice.
From the same website. He bought the suit. He went with the plain black one. Mine had more swagger.
I like the plaid.
Yeah,
I like the plaid.
That is cool.
I should get another one.
You should go to England and wear that.
I've beefed up a little bit, so I need to re-get. I need to, the jacket. Everything else still fits, but the jacket.
Ooh.
But I will admit, I bought a size too small for the jacket at the time because that thing was tight. But I'll show you the website, Bobby. They got some cool ass suits. I will say. No, but Peaky Blinders, awesome show.
Dude, and,
highly recommend.
And movie is gonna be coming out.
Yep.
I love how they ended it.
They're gonna wrap it up with a movie.
Yeah, and season 6 was just amazing. Like,
what's your favorite season?
I gotta go with probably like 3 or 4.
Mine is season 4 with the Italian mafia.
Yep, that was cool.
Well, now I know the Italian mafia is in it.
Whatever. That's not a secret. That spoils literally nothing for you.
True.
Nick.
I know. I'm just making a joke.
What was his name? Tom Hardy? That guy?
Tom Hardy playing Alfie Solomon.
Yeah, Alfie. Was that season 3?
Tom Hardy's in so many seasons.
Yeah,
he comes up. He's a recurring character.
Yeah,
they introduce him, I think, it's season
I love
2.
Tom Hardy.
Oh, okay.
Like
Season
Tom Hardy's
2,
a great
they
actor.
introduce him, and then I'm not going to say much more, but he comes back up in like every season.
Yeah, pretty much. But
So he doesn't die. Oh,
he's
yeah,
he's
that's good though.
the most prominent in season 2. So he's like a recurring role in season 2, and then he's like a guest the rest of the season.
honestly, like I could rewatch the whole thing. Like
I've already done it.
Yeah,
I rewatched the whole thing for season 6. I waited 2 years for season 6.
Yeah, true.
And I was sitting there, I'm like, I'm gonna watch it again. It's so good.
True. But I made it on to Stranger Things. I'm catching up.
Stranger Things is good too.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I have also not started that.
It's
I'm all right. Mel and I are already back on season 3. We were rewatching it.
I'm halfway through
Just
season 2
'cause,
of Ozark.
I'm on season 3.
I have to start Ozark.
That's my show.
But I don't.
Ozark's good.
Netflix doesn't really have much that interests me anymore, so I pretty much just rewatch the show. Like I keep Netflix at this point for Stranger Things and Peaky Blinders. Nothing else on Netflix interests me.
Ozarks. It's gonna be
okay. Ozarks.
But it's like the same thing as Stranger Things. Like the build up is really slow, and it takes a little bit to get into.
For Peaky Blinders?
No. Peaky Blinders,
Peaky Blinders, good right away, right off the bat. After like the first 10 minutes of episode 1, the intro to episode 1, you're just like, so what the hell is this gonna be?
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck? Cillian Murphy, man.
Because literally, like the first scene is some Chinese girl just blowing like red powder onto a horse.
Yeah, and you're just
you're like, what?
did I put on the right show? Hold on.
Yeah, you're like, pause, hold on, wait, rewind. What?
True.
It's Peaky Blinders is so good. Season 6 ended. I'm very happy with how they did it. I'm glad they're ending it with a movie.
I'm glad too.
Because COVID took away. Their original plan was always 7 seasons, and COVID took away season number 7, which is why they're gonna end it with a movie.
I love that because I feel like a lot of shows should have been ended with a movie instead of this season.
Yeah, well, because Cillian Murphy was
Game of Thrones. I'm looking at you. Didn't even watch any of it, but everyone hates you.
He always dreamed of ending the show with a Hollywood movie. I'm hoping Hollywood doesn't completely F it up, but I imagine they're gonna just let the normal writers and everything do it.
Yeah, and I feel like. Is it going to be on Netflix or is it going to be actually?
No, it's probably going to release to theaters.
Oh,
I better watch all of them before, then we can all go. Yeah, we can all wear our suits.
Dude, if it comes to theaters, I will wear a suit. I will get a Peaky Blinders suit.
You already have one.
I will get a new jacket for the Peaky Blinders suit.
I feel like you just exercise into that one.
No, dude, that thing was tight at the time.
That's your goal suit.
That's my goal suit. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd go for the comfort of one size bigger, which would still be a goal suit for me at the moment.
Okay, I like that. Goals. We're all about manifesting your goals.
If it does come to theaters, like in the U.S., I'm buying the suit. I'm gonna walk in, even though I'm gonna already have the ticket on my phone. Be like, 1 ticket for the Peaky Blinders movie, please.
So you're not gonna go with me, Bobby? That's fine. No, do you want to go together?
Well, I'm not gonna buy your guys' ticket.
Well, I figured if we're all showing up together, you'd just be like the ringleader in the front and say 3. Okay.
Yeah,
whatever, even though we all paid for our own.
Yeah. Either way, if it comes to theaters, we'll all get suits and go.
All right.
Deal?
Yeah, that's a great deal.
It's so good.
It's a great show.
I'm glad you brought that up. Now I'm gonna be thinking about that. I love that show.
Seriously,
guys, watch it.
I gotta get through 6 seasons before the movie comes out.
Dude, it's only like 6 episodes a season.
Yeah,
but they're like an hour and 10 minutes.
The last episode was like.
Oh, it was almost 2 hours.
Yeah, it was almost 2 hours.
I remember it was like 11:30. So we finished on our honeymoon. We finished the series because I kind of got on Mel's case. I'm like, I've been trying to watch season 6. All of my friends know I'm a huge fan of it. They all tried to talk. Like Tucker tried to talk to me about it when he was in town for the wedding. I was like, I haven't finished it. My cousin Matt's like, dude, did you finish season 6? I'm like, I have not yet. And so everyone's like, what? Because I'm the biggest Peaky Blinders fan. They all know.
Yeah, true.
But Mel never wanted to watch it. So we finally finished it on our honeymoon. It was like 11:30. I'm like, we're gonna watch the last episode. And I'm like, don't worry, it'll only be an hour. Hour and 45 minutes later. Mel's barely awake at the end, but I was like, yes.
Dude,
yes.
I was glued to the TV that whole.
Let me call everyone I know.
Because there's so much about that season where you're like, dude, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, because like it really is just a whole blur. Like I don't want to spoil.
But there is one thing I'm very proud of myself for figuring out. I'll leave it at that. I'll tell you individually.
Yeah.
Because I was so proud of it. Mel will back me up.
Okay.
But that's the end of that.
Nick, watch it, and viewers, if you haven't watched Peaky Blinders yet,
watch
it. Yeah.
Best show ever. 100%. It took over Dexter as my favorite show.
Oh, I love Dexter.
Dexter's a good show.
Did you see the new season?
No, I don't have Showtime.
Oh, I got Showtime. You
should share that with me so I can watch it.
Yeah. I'll watch it with you guys.
All right. Yeah. Hey,
there we go.
Yeah, we could all watch it.
Perfect. That's what we're gonna do. For every episode, we're gonna watch something.
Yeah.
Like we got the TV set up in here.
Yeah, true.
We can do it. We have the TV in the garage.
And we got to bring in the other section of the couch.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Don't remind me about that, Bobby. But let's get into our sports talk now.
Yeah, sorry.
That's our hot spots. I really liked this week's hot spots. I think we had some good stuff to talk about. But let's get right into it. As I said at the beginning of the show, we put off recording so we can include the MLB All-Star Game and Home Run Derby in this episode. So let's lead off with the Home Run Derby.
My boy.
Yeah.
Your boy. But first, your boy was knocked out, or Pete Alonso was knocked out by your boy, actually. Julio Rodriguez.
So, wait. Nick, read that last part of that.
Knocked out by a rookie sensation.
Yeah.
Bobby,
Knocked
put
out.
that
Rookie
in.
sensei. I put that in
Pete
there for you,
Alonso
Nick.
knocked out by rookie sensation Julio Rodriguez, 81 total home runs.
Insane.
Very good performance. Unfortunately, the whole bracket system for the home run derby did not work in his favor in that case. Great performance. Juan Soto wins it after flying commercial out of Atlanta. He took the red eye to get to LA.
Nationals not happy about him turning down that.
Yes, and we will touch on that in a little bit. But Juan Soto wins the home run derby. What's his face? Albert Pujols did better than we expected.
True.
I think Kyle Schwarber
He got shafted.
No, I think Kyle Schwarber agreed with MLB to let Albert Pujols win.
I think so.
Albert Pujols' last home run before it was tied definitely came way after the timer buzzed, which technically should not have counted as a home run.
I'm pretty sure they didn't count a Kyle Schwarber home run.
And then they didn't count 2 of his home runs in the overtime.
Okay, because I remember I watched because I didn't get to watch it live. I watched the highlights of it, and the announcer goes 18, and it just stays on 17 for another home run.
Yeah.
And then it goes to 18, and so he finished with 19 out of 20.
Yeah, he goes 17 home runs. He needs 2 more. Next home run, absolute bomb to right
Doesn't
center
count.
field. Goes, that's 18. And then all of a sudden, he gets another one. And I'm like, all right, now they're tied. And he goes, he still needs 2 more to tie. I'm like,
I
wait,
think
what? Isn't he at 18? Like,
Schwarber once again shafted by the home run derby.
but I feel like because they were.
But this one felt I could see it as like it's just like, hey Kyle, let's give him his shining. We're gonna give him his shining moment because I watched his last swing before they went into their overtime, and it's like he didn't even try to hit a home run. He was like, shoot, looks like I have to not beat Albert Pujols.
When Albert Pujols took his time out, the person right next to Juan Soto was getting interviewed, and the person next to him stayed next to him.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle Schwarber came up to him and was like, how am I supposed to beat him? Like, this is his curtain call show. And they overheard that, and I was like, well, yeah, I don't think he's going. Like,
no,
if Albert Pujols would have hit 10 or less, I think they couldn't have just forced it.
The thing is, they were able to get him to close to 20. So
but since it was 13, and he was like, 13, I could just struggle for the first couple minutes and then just try to look like I'm rushing to get 13. And it was good enough. And then that second round, he got shafted by that home run.
It's whatever, man.
Yeah.
I don't think he cares, though. Kyle Schwarber's a pretty cool guy.
No, Schwarber, I like Schwarber.
Yeah.
I liked him when he was on the Cubs. Oddly enough, I feel like his career has taken off since leaving the Cubs.
Yeah, I really do. Because he was like a minuscule factor.
Well, yeah, the Cubs. I remember having conversations a while ago about Kyle Schwarber back when he was fresh out of the draft, making rookie second year guy, and the conversation was always the Cubs didn't know how to use him. Right? He came out as a catcher.
Yeah.
Not good enough as a catcher. Not a very good outfielder. He just was a bat. And in the National League, it's like you kind of don't get to be that because there's no DH.
And it was always tough when you if you listen to interviews and stuff, is why they were going to put him at first base. But then there's no point you're taking Anthony Rizzo out, and they're both lefties. So they're both going up against a ready lineup. Right.
And then you got Jason Hayward, also a lefty. Jason Hayward in the prime back when Schwarber was kind of a what is this guy for the Cubs?
Yeah.
Hayward was very good. You had Dexter Fowler for a year or two. Chris Bryant played the corner outfield from time to time.
Ben Zobrist.
You just had too many.
Russell.
That team was too deep, and Kyle Schwarber never really. I feel like he never got to really establish himself until he signed with the Phillies a couple years ago, or
Red Sox.
Yeah, Red Sox.
It was.
He went Red Sox, Nationals, now Phillies. Right?
Yeah, Cubs, Red Sox to Nationals.
Was he traded to the Red Sox?
No,
from the Cubs.
No. The Cubs just didn't re-sign him.
They just didn't re-sign him?
Okay,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember, but I feel like he broke out with the Nationals. He established himself.
It really was because he had that big month where he hit 12 or something home runs.
He had a crazy
that was last year.
Yeah,
The
and then that's when he really
Yeah. So,
dominated.
I like Kyle Schwarber, though. I've always kind of liked him, even when he was on the Cubs.
I do too.
And I've never had bad blood with Cubs players. He was a case of a dude who didn't really fit with that team. They drafted him high. I believe it was a first round pick.
Yeah, I think so.
And it just he didn't really have a place on that team. The Cubs at that time had too many. They had too many players, more talent than they could use. and that he was the victim of that because he was a catcher who wasn't good at catching, and he never played the outfield.
And I mean, we had Wilson Contreras, who was
Yeah.
amazing at catching.
And then he
But-
tore his ACL the
Yeah.
year after the World Series. And you're like,
And
or no, the year of the World Series he tore his
yeah,
ACL.
he did. Yeah.
because
He
he only
came
came
back
back.
for
He
it.
only came back for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the fact that we let Kyle Schwarber walk and signed a bum ass Jock Peterson. All right.
October. Hey, Jock's lighting it up, bro.
Yeah, not on the Cubs. All right. That's my problem with
the Cubs
him.
were trash when they got him, and they expected him to
Hey,
hit
listen,
like
dude,
50 home
that-
runs.
You guys got to understand. You guys signed Jock Peterson for like $2 million. Okay.
I think it was like 6.
Okay, that's nothing in the MLB.
All right, but we
Like-
could have paid Kyle Schwarber a little bit more than that.
Sure, but
Ruben.
you didn't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, don't blame
you're
Jock.
acting like
I'm blaming
they
Jock.
signed Jock Peterson to save the franchise. Bro, they paid him nothing. In
True.
the grand scheme of MLB contracts, which Juan Soto turned out a massive one, but in the grand
Oh,
scheme
yeah.
of MLB contracts, the $6 million or whatever they paid Jock Peterson it might as well be the veteran minimum at this point, because Juan Soto turned down 15 years, $440 million. Mike Trout signed for $40 million a year. Bryce Harper signed for like $29 million a year. Manny Machado's right around that same
Yeah.
amount.
And-
Everyone, like all
Yeah.
these guys.
And I want to say for the Nationals, Bryce Harper turned down a $300 million contract. Trey Turner.
Bryce Harper turned down more yearly salary from the Nationals. Like it was, Nationals offered him 10-year, I think $320 million.
Yeah.
And he signed for 13 and $330 with the Phillies. So he's losing. He makes less per year.
And then he left, and then the Nationals won a
And
championship.
yeah, funny enough, Anthony Rendon
Yep.
turned down a
And
contract
Rendon.
to sign essentially the same contract with the Angels, which personally I think the Nationals got out lucky. We're
Yeah, they
lucky on
did.
that one because now Rendon's contract is horrible. It's an
Yeah.
albatross
Yeah.
contract.
And now Soto turning down.
Soto turned down 15 years, 440. I think it's the 15-year thing. He was like, bro, that
That's a
puts
lot
him
of
there
years,
until
yeah.
he's 39.
Yeah, like
His
he
whole
was
career, I think that's the thing. I just don't think he wants his whole career to be spent there.
yeah, I
you know,
agree. It's like
Some guys, they want the guaranteed, they want the durate. They want to be like, this is the contract that will set me up for life. I get it. Personally, if I were a professional athlete, 15 years, the most I feel like I can commit myself to one team is like 7 years. Because then I would like to try and test it and see if I can go get something else.
Yeah.
Especially he's young. He's 23 or 24.
23.
23.
23, and Julio was 21. He's a super young
Yes.
home run derby championship.
Juan Soto, second youngest home run derby winner.
Besides Ken Griffey Jr.
ooh, okay.
I think Julio would have been the youngest. if
He would have.
won it.
Yeah.
that would have been
So
And he should have won because they shafted him.
and
it
if-
is what it is, dude.
He
But
should
it-
just I don't care. He should just batted second. You shouldn't be hitting 63 home runs in the first 2 rounds when literally barely anyone else touched 20.
honestly what it should do for if they're going to use that seeding system, like, so you go based on your seeding and everything for the first round. Cool. They base that off of whatever they base that off of. Corey Seager was number 3, I guess. Whatever. After either the first round, or you can even just do it only for the last 2 guys, but it should be whoever has more home runs going into, whether after the first round, whoever has more home runs hits second. Or if you just do it for the final round, whoever has more total home runs hits second.
yeah.
Yeah, going into the
That should
final
be-
round,
That seems fair.
Julio Rodriguez hit for 2 minutes longer than Juan Soto because Juan Soto never needed his bonus time. And then Julio Rodriguez missed his bonus time because he hit one for 450 feet. And then his second longest was 427, or 427, which is less than the other
Right.
one. I'm like, yeah, but if you hit 81 home runs,
You're tired.
You're
There's
tired.
a fatigue factor.
and you
in
should
that.
be going second to get the benefit because you hit
Yeah,
someone.
there's a fatigue factor. There,
And if you want,
I feel like this is not the first time there's been controversy with the home run derby.
I just wish in the final round they go back to 10 outs.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, that takes a really long time, but if it's just 2 guys, let them swing at what they want and just let them hit as many as they
Yeah.
can.
Can we talk about Ronald Acuna's pitcher real quick? Greg Maddux out there throwing cutters away from Acuna and did you see it?
no, I didn't
Dude,
see
this guy's legit throwing curveballs to like Ronald Acuna's just getting pitches. It's like low and away. Nothing was middle. This guy's not throwing batting practice. He's working on his slider out
Yeah.
there. It was the memes are pretty funny about it. But you're watching this, I'm like, this guy's got more movement than like Clayton Kershaw back in his prime. It
Yeah,
was
that's-
crazy.
Julio Rodriguez picked a stud, bullpen catcher who was just literally
Bang, bang,
putting him right
bang.
there. And like Pete Alonso's guy was the same guy he's always had, but Pete Alonso's guy is no longer on the Mets like
He
in
couldn't
the
wear a Mets
system.
jersey.
He's on the Nationals.
Oh, really?
So that was the first time he's thrown into Pete Alonso since last All-Star game.
Oh.
So like,
Corey Seager used his dad,
yeah.
because I guess you could do that.
Juan Soto used his dad last year.
And he learned his lesson.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't win because of you, Dad. No, but it was it was still a fun time.
I just feel
all
bad
things
because
considered.
I think they were talking when Pete Alonso and Julio Rodriguez were going up against each other because Julio Rodriguez is making the minimum contract because he's on his rookie contract still.
Yeah.
So he would have won $1 million. So he would have won like 15 times his salary for the year.
Yeah, he's only making like 300.
And every other person in the home run derby was making like 15 million for the year, and he was just like, "Well, man, I
think him and Soto are on cheap contracts.
yeah, Soto's making twice as much as Julio, but it's still not that much.
He's less than $1 million a year.
Yeah.
He's making entry level stuff.
So I mean, good for them because it like.
Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah.
I did
it was
see
a
though
nice, like injecting the next generation of talent.
2 people during the home run derby were saying, "Oh, these guys might be teammates soon," because Juan Soto just turned down the contract. I'm like,
Yes.
there's no way the Mariners are going to get another young outfielder unless they're trading. Well, but they want like MLB ready players. They might
Kyle Lewis.
if they traded Kyle Lewis, who's been hurt, and Mitch Haniger, who are both MLB ready outfielders.
It would take a lot to get Soto.
But they're going to ask for something like J.P. Crawford or Ty France. And, like, really, the Mariners, I think, without Juan Soto, I'm not saying that I would love to have Juan Soto on the Mariners. Like, who wouldn't want to have Juan Soto? But it's like, I also think we're good enough to where we just need, like, a piece. We don't need, like, a whole team, which is Juan Soto. We can go get.
Can you imagine, though, if you got him?
Yeah, that would be insane.
There's rumors that the White Sox are in conversation for him. I don't see it happening.
I don't see anyone in the White Sox organization wanting to spend the money.
No, it's not going to happen.
As long as he doesn't go to the Dodgers, that's all I care about.
This was I was talking to a buddy of mine about the trade package for Juan Soto, which, by the way, well, after this, actually no, we'll go right now. What do you think is the landing spot for Juan Soto?
Toronto,
because
they have some young guy. Like, I hate to say it, but Bo Bichette's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But they have that Jordan Groshans guy who's the same position. They have Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Kevin Biggio Jr.
They have a lot of guys to give up.
Alejandro Kirk is one of the better catchers. They have a guy that they want to call.
I don't think they're giving up.
No, they have a guy that they want to call up for catcher behind him because they didn't think Kirk was going to be as good. So I can see them getting rid of that backup catcher to the Nationals, who don't have a catcher right now.
Yeah,
who's good.
I struggle to figure out where he would end up because I know he's going to command a lot. You have to figure the only teams in play are teams that are like flirting with playoffs.
Yeah, that's true.
So like who has deep farm systems? Toronto has. I think Groshans is a perfect guy to name drop.
Well, I'm saying I would say they might get rid of Bo Bichette and just hope that Groshans can just be somewhat close. Because I think the Nationals are going to start to ask Juan Soto's MLB ready caliber player. They don't want a guy who's the next up and coming. They want the guy who's in the MLB ready.
And
so
you add him that Toronto's clear cut number 2. I don't know if they would be Yankees level, but
I don't know if you have Vlad Guerrero Jr., Juan Soto, Matt Chapman, Alex Manoah, Alejandro Kirk. Like,
it's tough, man. I feel like a team that might make the move on, and call me crazy, but what about the Orioles?
I can see that. They have a lot of young guys.
Orioles are a fringe. Like this year, I think they've exceeded their expectations.
Yeah. And
now they're going to be in the mindset of we're a fringe team. You know, we're a couple pieces away. We all know the Orioles have a good minor league system. Shit, they've had a top 5 pick for the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's true.
I could see the Orioles making a play because they have MLB guys they can give up right now that aren't part of the long-term future. They have prospects they can give up that you'd be willing to part ways with for the sake of getting Juan Soto. But I think he is truly as unpredictable as they come when it comes to where's he going to go.
Yeah. And you always have to know,
you never know. Like, there's teams like the Dodgers that will just give up everything for that guy. They did it with Scherzer and Trey Turner.
But you
never really know. I feel like the MLB trade deadline is way more unpredictable than most other sports.
Yeah, it is. It's
because you always have the teams like the Dodgers who look at Max Scherzer. He's on the Dodgers and he's already off. Trey Turner stayed because Corey Seager left. If Corey Seager would have stayed, Trey Turner also would have been off. the roster.
Yeah.
Adam Frazier went to the Padres for 3 months and then is now on the Mariners.
Yeah.
Because they didn't make the playoffs. The place I could see him going, the Marlins are a good place for him because they have some young guys that can come up. The Washington Nationals aren't going to trade a guy of that caliber into their division.
No chance.
So I can see the Rockies being a cool place. I feel like Chris Bryant would have to be gone. He would have to be in the trade.
I don't think Chris Bryant's going to get traded.
But they have some young outfielders who would replace.
You have Jonathan Daza there. You have, I don't know if you give up CJ Crone. That's tough.
That is.
He's their second best player.
Yeah, but
then you also have, what's his face? You have Ryan McMahon's over there too. He could take over. I mean, that's a guy you could trade. McMahon's a solid piece. Yeah. It's so unpredictable. See, this was my potential trade package for the White Sox to get Juan Soto, Eloy Jimenez, Gavin Sheets, Yolbert Sanchez, Yoelqui Cespedes.
And one other guy, Leury Garcia, just to get rid of
him. just to get him out of there.
I've said when I was talking with a friend of mine, if the White Sox were actually in play with Juan Soto, every prospect is on the table with exception of Colson Montgomery. Colson Montgomery is the only guy I would deem untouchable in their minor league system because I believe Colson Montgomery is going to emerge as I got him pegged as a top 10 shortstop when he hits the MLB. Easy. He's on like a 55 on base streak. 55 games on base in the minor leagues.
That's impressive.
That is.
And I imagine, my prediction is that when Colson Montgomery is MLB ready, Tim Anderson moves to second base because Montgomery's going to have better defense. He's got a good bat. I'm very excited for Colson Montgomery.
I like that trade, thinking-wise package, except they're going to want pitchers.
And that was the other guy, Jared Kelly. He was their second-round pick 2 years ago now, since the MLB draft just happened. He was widely considered a first-round pick, but because no one was certain if he was going to sign or not, he fell to the second round. He struggled a little bit, but now he's 19. He's a 19-year-old pitcher, very talented. He's a guy I would throw into that package because he's got a very high ceiling. But I would give up so much.
Would you give up any of your starting five rotation? And mainly I'm talking about Dylan Cease and or Michael Kopech to get Juan Soto.
Based on how it looks, I would be open to giving up Kopech. Cease, you guys know I've been very critical of Dylan Cease, but you know what? If this is what we can expect from Dylan Cease going forward this season, I can live with it. My only knock against Dylan Cease, and it's always been my knock against him, is that he barely gets through 6 innings.
Yeah.
But if you figure this is him figuring it out and he's going to start going 7 innings, 6 to 7 innings every outing for the most part, I'm cool with it. Kopech, I like Kopech, but I've always kind of viewed him as a trade piece because there's always something with him. I would be comfortable parting ways with Michael Kopech and going and getting Juan Soto. Because there's guys, say you get Juan Soto and you have to give up Michael Kopech because he's MLB ready, yada yada. So you give up Gavin Sheets, Eloy, Kopech, Yolbert, Yoelqui. That's 5 pieces right there. 3 of them, 2.5. Gavin Sheets is a fringe MLB guy, but I like Gavin Sheets.
But on a team like the Nationals, he's going to be playing.
Yeah.
Because if you take out Abreu on the Sox and Vaughn still stays in the outfield, then Gavin Sheets is your everyday first baseman.
Yeah.
But with Andrew Vaughn also being there, it's like, right. He's almost MLB ready, but at what point is how many guys he's behind? So it's like...
Right. So Gavin Sheets is a half of an MLB ready guy, but on a team like the Nationals, he's MLB ready. So you give him 3 guys who are going to be everyday 2 guys who will be everyday starters, and a 3rd guy who is, starting half your games, right? That's a lot of value for one MLB starter. Granted, it's Juan Soto. That's a lot of value. Then you're also giving...
Would you also try to throw in Josh Bell into that? Because they also want to trade him. No, you don't want Josh Bell?
There's no need for him. He's only a first baseman.
The switch hitter, though. Lefty.
I get that, but he's only a first baseman. The White Sox, Gavin Sheets is a first baseman who's playing the outfield. Andrew Vaughn, those are 2 guys who have never played outfield until making it to the MLB. So they don't need a first baseman because all you're going to do, if you get Juan Soto, he's going to go into left field. He's going to go into right field. Andrew Vaughn's going to play left field. When Abreu DHs, Vaughn will go to first. Or when Grandal comes back, he will go to first. Like, they have too many guys who can play at first base. But so you give up Sheets and Eloy, they'll be everyday starters for the most part. And then you give up Kopech, who's going to be in your rotation right away. And then you're giving up Yoelki, who I think is very promising center fielder, who the White Sox just don't need to make his debut because they have Robert. And then Yolbert Sanchez is a very high ceiling or promising prospect for middle infield, primarily second base, who I don't even know who the second baseman is in Washington.
It's Carter Kieboom.
He's playing second base?
I think so. He flips between short and second, and I can't remember who their shortstop is. It's like a veteran defender guy, like a Josh Harrison level guy, but it's not.
So
Josh Harrison.
so like you're giving them tons of value for Juan Soto, and I feel like that's a trade that can get it done. Really, whether you do Kopech or Jared Kelly, maybe Kopech is what it takes because they want a guy who can contribute right away. But either way, you're giving up tons of stuff. I think it's a reasonable haul. The question is, my thing is, I'd only give it up if you know you can re-sign Juan Soto for the long term.
The thing that I'm interested in looking at is I feel like the Juan Soto fiasco that's happening is going to happen what our NBA is happening with Kevin Durant, because like no one really knows what Kevin Durant's going to do. So teams are waiting to make moves because like Frankie Montas
he's a trade. They have to trade him.
Yeah, but like Frankie Montas is still out there.
Ooh, yeah.
Towards like, are the Sox going to go after Frankie Montas? Because I feel like as soon as they go for Montas, they're losing. They're going to trade at least one guy that the Nationals you're going to need for the Nationals trade to get Juan Soto.
See, if I'm Rick Hahn, and I'm not obviously, but the guy who I'm looking at, there's two guys that I'm looking at the starting pitching position for the White Sox. Luis Castillo from the Reds. I think he's going to be hitting free agency. So
that'll help out Bobby's team. Cubs will probably beat the Reds then for sure.
But he's going to be hitting free agency. Sure. So the Reds probably know that he's not going to re-sign. So since he's going to be hitting free agency, his trade value dips a little bit because there's no guarantee to re-sign him. So personally, if I'm the White Sox, my priority more than Juan Soto is I want Luis Castillo in my starting rotation. So I'm going to be aggressive towards Castillo. If I don't get Castillo, fine. Okay, they trade him somewhere else. We lost out on that one. Now my backup guy that I look at is Jose Quintana, who's having a solid year in
bring
Pittsburgh.
him back.
Might as well bring him back. He's 33. He's nothing. He's not great, but most of your rotation's underperforming. Lance Lynn's ERA is almost at 9.
I don't think he's fully healthy still.
No, looking at it, I find it difficult to say he is.
Guys like Lance Lynn got screwed by spring training getting cut short.
Lance Lynn has been a career top 1 or 2 in your rotation, and he got injured in a shortened spring training, and he doesn't look good. I don't think he's fully healthy. I certainly hope so because they just signed him for 4 or 5 years. But so if you go and get Jose Quintana, and he won't cost you a lot because he's on a 1-year contract with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He's a guy that he's like who did the White Sox trade for from the Cubs last year? Not Kimbrel, the other guy, Ryan Tepera.
Ryan
He's
Tepera.
like a Ryan Tepera.
Yeah.
You signed him to fill a spot, and you're like, oh wow, he's actually pitching pretty decently.
Yeah.
So you go and get Quintana. You hope that he can give you his 3.4 ERA as the number 5 guy in your rotation, and chew up more innings than what your current guys are able to do.
Get a lefty starter in there.
He's a lefty. He has a good curveball. So say he goes in and you decide that we're going to drop Lance Lynn for a little bit, let him either send him on a rehab assignment or give him bullpen innings for a little bit.
Yeah.
Whatever you decide to do, put him on the IL, something. He's your backup move at the starting pitcher rotation. And then because you probably didn't give up a lot for him, I can imagine that being Jose Quintana for a prospect.
Yeah.
Cool. Yolbert Sanchez gets you Jose Quintana. Cool. There you go. You gave up Yolbert Sanchez for Quintana. It's not really a crazy trade. Then you can still kind of pursue someone like Juan Soto. You can go after a big name still because you addressed a need that you had, not as flashy as you wanted to. But guess what? You still have a need in corner outfield position, a need for a lefty bat other than Gavin Sheets. Gavin Sheets is the only guy providing any kind of power from the left-handed box for the White Sox.
Because Grandal's been hurt.
Grandal's been hurt. Moncada, who has been
trash.
Swinging, he's been swinging it a lot better the last several games going into the All-Star break. I think he's turning a corner on the year. but he's a switch hitter, so he's not even a true lefty. You know what I mean? Gavin Sheets is really the only true lefty in your lineup.
Yeah.
So there's tons of options.
I guess we should really ask Bobby, what's your view from the other side? Because like the Cubs, I'm not saying that Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ are trash, but I don't think they're the same splash that Juan Soto makes. So like say you're dealing Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ to one team. What are you looking for? Like say like I guess you can say the Mariners or the Sox, since you probably know the most players on both of those.
For Wilson Contreras, I would expect the Soto Hall.
Bobby,
really?
No, that's wishful thinking.
I mean, to be true, it's catcher, so it's like kind of a value. Like if your team needs a catcher,
it's a very valuable, and he's the best. Like you can't deny he's the best catcher in baseball.
If you're giving Happ and Contreras to the same team,
then
I see where you're. Then yes, Bobby, 100%. If those guys are packaged in one trade, you should be getting. I don't think it gets you Juan Soto. I also don't think the Cubs are not in a position to go get Juan Soto.
Oh no,
because their timeline is 2029 or whatever the heck.
Yeah, it's insane.
Or whatever the hell they
2027.
2027. Okay, cool. 5 years from now, you really are going to burn 5 years of Juan Soto before your team's ready to compete.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I could be wrong, right? I'm not in the MLB. I'm not a GM.
You never know.
Although I like to think my breakdown there for the White Sox
was pretty fair.
That was pretty good.
I'm
getting to the point where the Mariners
call me, bro.
Like a couple years ago,
but I don't want Wilson Contreras to leave. So like the only way I'd be okay with it is if we got the Hall like package that you would.
Well, especially after last year, because like I'm not saying your team got fleeced, but for MLB ready talent, fleeced. You gave up 3 guys who went to be starters on playoff teams, all 3 of them.
But honestly, the only
now you Darvish.
Well, but I'm saying Baez, Bryant, and Rizzo.
But you got to think about it, like as comparative as how they're playing this year. Anthony Rizzo is the only one that's actually producing well. Like,
Baez is
god awful,
dude.
Like
you're in a terrible division too. That doesn't help.
I always thought the Cubs were smart to move on to not spend the money on Baez.
Which is fair. He's a flashy player. Like he's either boom or bust.
Swinger, dude. I respect his game for what it is. But this year is a perfect example of why his play style, or rather approach at the plate, is very risky, and why you don't tie up a ton of money into a guy who is essentially a right-handed Joey Gallo.
Yep, fair enough.
He's either striking out or hitting a home run for the most part. He got hot for like 2 weeks going into the All-Star break.
Yeah,
so I give him credit for that. But he's still hitting like
14 in a row.
So did the White Sox. They got kind of hot going into it as
14
well.
in a row.
And same thing with the Cubs
and the Orioles.
Yeah, true.
Orioles, man. But no, Javier Baez is hitting like 220 on the year.
Yeah,
he's only got like 7 home runs, 5 home runs.
Well, I just wanted to ask Bobby that because I feel like so many teams have gone out there and been like, all right, we're going to make a trade at the deadline. It's like, look at how many players we're getting. But for like those 3 guys that just left for the Cubs, you got a bunch, but also like now your team's probably going to be bad for a couple of years. Eventually, if those guys come back, they're ready.
Well, the thing that kills me about what the Cubs did is Baez, Bryant, Rizzo, all traded. Not one of those guys got you a top 50 prospect in the MLB pipeline.
No.
You should have gotten at least one for each of them.
Yeah.
Because even though I believe Baez wouldn't have been worth it, his value at the time, and he was
especially for the Mets.
Yeah, like Baez kind of commanded that kind of return, even though props to the Mets because they're like, we're not giving you that much for Baez. But you would have thought
because
his name, his flashiness, like he is a big name in the MLB.
Yeah.
For better or worse. Usually, like his name would have gotten you something.
Yeah.
Bryant is the one who definitely 100% former MVP. He has him and Rizzo, I think, were very consistently good. Those 2 guys should have at least gotten you a top 50 prospect each, and you didn't get
fringe
one.
Starter.
You got nothing.
Yeah.
Yu Darvish coming off of a career year should have gotten you one. I don't think any single player in that Yu Darvish trade is going to make their MLB debut.
No.
Unless one of them has already, and I don't know. But I'm pretty sure none of them are going to make it to the MLB.
It was Zach Davies, and Zach Davies is absolute fucking trash.
So
Look, my biggest thing, I feel bad for you because I think the Mariners fleeced the Mets enough times, and the Mets were like, "Yeah, we're not falling for this again." Because after that Robinson Cano trade, they had J.P. Crawford and Jared Kelenic, who is kind of a bust now, but
he's
J.P.
still young.
He's
He
still a
made his
chance.
debut last year.
yeah, made his debut, then called up, then sent down, and then
You-
this year he's sent up.
The MLB is one of the hardest sports to develop in.
But see, that's my thing. It's like Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz for J.P. Crawford, Jared Kelenic, and then what ended up being the pick for Kyle Lewis, which you can't count that against the Mets because you have no idea who you're going to get.
Yeah, that's not a
Those
guarantee.
are three guys who all are playing in the MLB ready or are going up and down. The Cubs have never gotten that, so now are the Cubs more pressured to go out and get a guy? Like, say they trade Wilson Contreras to the Mariners. Are they for sure asking for a young MLB prospect, or you think that they're still in their slump of it doesn't matter, just give us quantity over quality?
Well, I think they're playing the long game, so they're just going to go give us some prospects, just give us quantity.
And
So
that's
hopefully-
the problem with the Cubs, dude.
Yeah, it is.
Rizzo said it best. There's no excuse. The Cubs should be just like the Dodgers and Yankees are every year.
Yeah,
Pay the luxury tax. You make the money.
Yeah.
yeah.
But now some
The
team,
Cubs have been trash for so long, and they still make money.
and after what they did with Rizzo last year, now players are like, I don't want to sign big contracts with you because you don't really care about the players. Like Rizzo said he would have signed for a lot less money just to stay with the Cubs. And
Yep.
they were like, nah, let's still get out of here.
And
The Cubs-
Rizzo would have been the only one I would have been Chris Bryant, have you guys, totally understandable. Like, you get rid of him. But Rizzo, he was there for the rebuild. He, was the heart and soul of
He
the
was gonna
Cubs.
stay. I firmly believe that Baez and Bryant were going to leave anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because cough, Scott Boras. Baez took the money to go to Detroit. They want, they got their ring and everything.
Yeah.
Scott Boras was going to not let Chris Bryant get nostalgic and sentimental with the Cubs because he doesn't let any of his athletes do that. Baez, I think, was ready to go get his money as well.
Yeah.
Rizzo was cool. He had it made in Chicago.
Yeah.
Honestly, all three of those guys would have had it made staying with the Cubs. But
Yeah.
you knew they weren't all going to stay. Rizzo was the most realistic one. For Wilson Contreras, though, and Ian Happ, but between those two guys, more so Wilson Contreras because Ian Happ is having a breakout year.
Yeah.
Contreras should get you a guy who could potentially start on your opening day next year.
Yep.
Or at least that crap where they manipulate service time and hold them back
Yeah.
for a week.
I was getting at the bare minimum. At a
Yeah.
point, you should be at least expecting, if not one of those guys and a couple other good prospects, like maybe your top 100, 150,
Yeah.
a guy who can play, like a guy like Kelenic. I'm not saying the Mariners are going to give up Kelenic for him, but like a guy who's like, okay, he's shown
Who's
flashes
believed
up.
to be at that level.
Yeah. Like
But-
a guy like Alec Boehm for the Phillies. He's having a bad year, but it's like, but he
He's
has
young,
that.
dude.
He has that ability. Like he's there. Like
Yeah.
if you give him
He's got
time
the talent,
and he
you just
plays
gotta
on a
let him
bad
get
team,
there,
same
right.
with Gavin Sheets. Like right now, he looks not as good because he's on a team with great players. But if you put him on the Nationals, okay, now all of a sudden he becomes your for sure
Yeah,
everyday starter.
yeah.
Gavin Sheets is one of those guys who's like better than the AAA level, but not quite MLB ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But part of that is because he's just not getting the at bats. They only use him when there's a righty out on the mound. Actually, not even, dude. They really only use him whenever they need to rest one of the Vaughn, Abreu, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Guys like those guys remind me of like the mid 2000s to mid 2000 teens A's teams, where it's like, all right, none of those guys, if they get traded to another team, are actually making an everyday starter. But since they're on the A's and they want them to just get on base, they're playing every day and they're getting much better.
Yeah.
Like Chris Davis was so good in Oakland because he just got a bunch of at bats. And Matt Chapman, I think, is a much better. Like if you would put him on any other career, he would have been fizzled out way earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
So-
I feel like the Cubs need to start making these moves where it's like, all right, this guy's not MLB ready, but on our team he is MLB ready, so we're
Yeah.
going to play him every single day because he's
Right.
22 years old. We don't
Right,
care if he
right.
strikes out 180 times.
So here's the thing: the MLB trade deadline, it is
August 1st,
2nd,
second.
which is coincidentally 2 Tuesdays from now.
Hey,
So
We'll see my reaction.
let's go.
I'm-
Let's do this before. Let's not dive in much further on MLB trade deadline. We really got off topic for the MLB All Star game.
Yeah, we really
Let's
did.
go next week. How about we plan on like a big trade? Let's do a trade deadline talk next week.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll
Yeah,
really
works.
dive in because I feel like there's a lot of potential between the three of us with this conversation.
Yeah.
So we'll save it for next week, and then maybe the week following we wait until after the trade deadline to record, so we can do reactions to it rather than record during it.
Yeah.
So we'll plan on that.
Look at that guy planning things.
Yeah, true.
We talked a long time about that,
Yeah,
and I really liked
did.
this conversation. This kind of stuff is what I love to talk about when it comes to sports. But let's highlight some final All-Star Game stuff before we dive into the NFL real quick.
Yeah.
So, American League wins their ninth straight All-Star Game, 3-2. Giancarlo Stanton, which I won $50 on the bet for a home run and MVP. I just had that sixth sense about
If he hits a home run, that's a good chance to win MVP.
Right, like I said before the show. Usually, if a dude hits a home run and he's on the winning team, he's going to win MVP.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And sure enough, it happened. More RBIs than Byron Buxton. That's the difference right there. Crushed that ball, by the way.
Yeah.
Like you saw, I sent the picture.
Oh, yeah,
You're in
dude.
that group chat, right, Nick? The
I think
fantasy
so.
football
Yeah.
one, and the ball just looks like it folded. The science behind the MLB amazes me. It fascinates me. But he absolutely crushed that, murdered that ball. That ball had a family, man. It had a family.
Absolutely.
And it's never gonna see it
112
again.
miles per hour.
457 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, just destroyed.
I thought it was the NL's year after Shane McClanahan just came in and just gave up just 2 runs right away.
He wasn't ready for the
no.
moment. No, I don't know what it is with for whatever reason, the American League just has that All-Star Game locked.
I just think they have better hitters,
Oh, well, yeah, the American League's always been the more offensive-driven league.
which is
And
weird.
in a game where pitchers really aren't willing to risk injury doing anything crazy, that's going to benefit a hitting league like the ML, the
that's
AL
fair
way
enough.
more.
True.
That's the thing. No one cares about the All-Star Game. The players are there to have fun and enjoy the time.
My big thing too is it's the same thing with a quarterback is always going to win on the winning team, the Super Bowl MVP. A hitter's always going to win the All-Star Game. I think Alek Manoah could have won MVP. He struck out 3 guys.
Yeah, you've retired the side for him.
Yeah.
And it's those are the best hitters in baseball that you're pitching against.
But at the end of the day, it's going to go to the offense.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
you
You
said.
score
True.
runs.
And a pitcher's
Well,
not
he
gonna
did
pitch
get
that
tons of
much.
respect for doing it.
Yeah,
For
he
what
did.
that's worth. Alek Manoah got tons
They
of props.
need
for
to
it.
start having an offensive and a pitching.
Just do pitcher of the game or defensive player of the game.
Yeah, they
offensive
should,
player of
yeah.
the game, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, like let's say Byron Buxton robs 2 home runs
Defensive player of the game.
and he hits a home run, he's going to win MVP because he did both.
Yeah.
But if he robs 2 home runs and doesn't hit a home run, he probably should still win because
Robbing 2 home runs, doing that twice in a year is crazy.
yeah.
But you know what? What I enjoy about the MLB All-Star Game and just the whole theatrics of it is that they know the players are just there to have fun. They don't pitch it as anything more than an exhibition where all the league's best come together and have fun. They do the fun interviews, they mic them up. All of it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So personally, I kind of like how the NHL and the MLB All-Star Game, I think, do it right. The NFL needs to adopt just a skills competition. NBA, same thing.
NBA and NFL are the same sport where it's you can't tackle in the NFL because we're going to get hurt. And the NBA is, even if we're just messing around, there's a good chance
You can roll
Derrick
an
Rose
ankle.
injury
You can
could
blow out a
happen.
knee. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hockey, you watch the NHL All-Star, it's a whole thing. They have several skills competitions, which are fun to watch. And then the actual games, it's 3-on-3 tournaments where the goalies don't even try because I'm not going to pull a groin for the All-Star
There's
game.
barely any checking because no one wants to hurt someone else.
They just have fun. And that's what All-Star games should be about. And I'm sick of seeing all these boomers on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, back in the day when Bob Gibson was pitching in the All-Star
When Pete
game.
Rose plowed a catcher and ruined that guy's career for an All-Star game.
It's dude, it's not that deep, man.
No.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's not.
that deep.
It's not.
Now, I would like if wait, we've established this. I feel like I'm going to say this again. They took away the whole winner of the All-Star game gets home field.
It's
Okay,
best.
perfect.
It's best
Perfect.
record.
There's nothing on the line now.
Yeah.
Let it be fun. There we go. There's nothing on the line. Also, if you're an All-Star and there is something on the line, and I'm the Reds All-Star guy, I am not about to run someone over at the plate when I know damn well my team won't even make the playoffs. Our season ends at the trade deadline. I already know that. I'm not about to be the guy who's this is for the National League, and just take out Alejandro Kirk at the plate.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Jonathan India is not going to be that guy for 3 years. Then we have to try.
Yeah, it's just what are we doing? taper your expectations, people.
Yeah.
The players, this is their time to have fun. I've always advocated have fun at the Pro Bowl. Have fun at your All-Star break.
I would like to see position players pitch, though, and then pitchers hit. Just one. Like,
yeah,
one
but
at
you
bat.
got to give them, like, the pitching screen. If you're going to do that, you're not about to let these guys throw batting practice.
No, I'm saying, like, just position players pitch to pitchers.
Oh,
I would love to see Mad Bum just go out there just hitting nukes as a pitcher.
Guys, I hate Mad Bum so much. Oh my gosh, I hate him. I was getting into it with Cole when he was here about Mad Bum. What a baby.
He hits nukes though.
Yeah, I know he's good, but he's a man child. Only dude I know who can talk crap to everyone, and then you talk crap back to him, and he's gonna cry about it. But I'm not going to go in on Mad Bum any further.
Very sensitive.
All in all, I kind of like the All-Star Week in the MLB. They don't take it too seriously. They let the guys have fun. They do the fun interviews and everything.
Yeah, it works.
It works. But NFL or NBA, they need to adopt a similar thing.
They really
just
do.
let the guys have fun. Stick to skills competitions. You know, leave it at that. Use it as more of a time to interview the players. And have fun. And I will say the NBA has been having more fun with it. Now that they do the player draft and everything.
Yeah. They're getting there.
They're getting there. The NFL,
it just need to be a 48-minute game.
Like
though,
the players are ready for it to just be fun at the Pro Bowl. But fans, once again, I remember back in the day when Lawrence Taylor would take the head off of whoever the running back is for the other Pro Bowl team, the National League, or I'm sorry,
AFC, NFC,
the AFC team, and I'm like, what are we talking about?
Yeah,
this is the season's over for these guys. We're really about to rip a head off of a dude.
Exactly. They should do 7-on-7s flag football style.
Dude, it's literally like the season's been over for these guys for like a month. What are we doing?
I think that's
flag football. We've talked about it.
NFL's biggest problem is they're trying to make it still a football game.
No,
but not tackling.
Man.
I'm like, you can't do that. Like, it doesn't work.
Dude, what's it called? Madden has their the yard.
Yeah, the yard.
Dude, do that. 5-on-5, 7-on-7 flag football. Everyone's an eligible receiver. You will have the players will have so much more fun.
Yeah,
the entire experience will be that much better. Injuries are severely, like, crazily reduced.
And then you could do like a whole tournament.
And they'll probably try more, to be honest, knowing that, like, I don't have, like, if I'm a defender, what do you think? You really think I'm gonna lay out and like try and deck someone? No.
Yeah.
No. I want to have fun. I'm in a nice environment with a bunch of superstars.
Yeah, I'm in Hawaii,
kind of
just chilling.
It's not in Hawaii anymore.
Oh, that's right.
But
I used to be in Hawaii. I used to be just chilling.
That was the life, man. But go with flag football, so the players will try more because they know they're not at as big of an injury risk. It's the contact that none of them want. You don't want a concussion in the Pro Bowl.
Wake up.
No.
You don't want a broken rib in the Pro Bowl. But that's a perfect way to move into our NFL conversation.
We're going to be talking about a Pro Bowler right here, AJ McCarron.
True.
Yes.
So Browns workout, AJ McCarron and Josh Rosen. I think they have finally realized that they have fucked up.
Did you see that Deshaun Watson is prepared to sue the NFL?
If it's a year or more.
Yeah, and the NFLPA is going to help him.
Because they have to. Because he's a player on the team.
Dude, I know. But this is... the NFLPA finds themselves between a rock and a hard place on this one.
Because like you can't not represent your guy, but also...
You kind of...
You can't represent...
You really want to represent a potential. And I will continue to say potential because... You know, innocent until proven guilty, all that mumbo jumbo in the legal system.
True.
But you have to help a potential serial predator.
Potential serial predator, definite scumbag.
Definite scumbag.
Because you don't put yourself in that position 25 times.
Listen, like, I'm sorry. You've definitely, and I will put this in the nicest way possible to not incriminate before we have a definitive ruling, right? But you have definitely misread the situation enough times to find yourself in this position.
Yeah.
Now, personally, Deshaun Watson, you might be a serial predator. But let's say you misread the situation enough times. Dude, only scummy scumbags will find themselves there.
Yeah, exactly. You're a scumbag.
Not to toot my own horn, but I've never been in a position where I'm like, yes, I'm ready for sexual harassment now. They want me to do this. No, I've never been in that position.
No, it's scumbag.
If anything, I'm like, man, they're not into me.
I feel like you just have to take out, like, I feel like people get hazy with the whole football situation. It's the whole thing of like, if someone came up to me and was like, Bobby sexually harassed me, I'd be like, all right, one person I would believe it. Now, if 35 people came up to me, like, maybe I need to look different than Bobby.
Perfect example.
Because I'm
we'll
like,
keep using Bobby's name.
Yeah, not using my name.
So let's say one girl, someone we know who knew Bobby. Bobby's like, oh yeah, I went on 2 dates with this girl. She's like, Bobby sexually harassed me. Instantly, a big bullshit. No chance. No chance.
Because I know
Bobby. There is no chance.
I would never do that. Why we gotta keep using my name?
If 30 women, or hypothetically speaking, 25 women. Let's just throw a random number out there. 25 women go Bobby sexually harassed.
All right, come on. Why you gotta keep using my name? All right.
You can thank Nick for this one. He name dropped you first.
Come on.
But let's say hypothetically that happens. Bobby, I trust you, I love you and everything. But at that point I had to be like, okay, Bobby, you got to be true. You got to be honest with me. This is 25 people against you. It's not a good look.
And
but
that's
the
my thing
is unfortunately obligated.
But are the Browns finally getting to that point where it's like,
I think they're.
Yeah, I think they've accepted Deshaun Watson's not playing this year.
But also, same thing with the Browns. You got two guys. Are we sure either of these guys is better than Jacoby Brissett? That's my question.
No, but there's a lot of unknown between these two guys. Josh Rosen started like 7 games in his career. He was an 11th overall pick or 9th overall pick, something
for
like that.
Arizona, right? And then he went to Miami.
And then they drafted Kyler Murray the next year.
Yeah, it's like
Josh. Personally, while I enjoyed the fact that Josh Rosen's career has like blown up because he was super smug and arrogant after the draft.
He was very.
Who was UCLA guy?
Yeah, and he was the guy who's like, there were 10 other mistakes in front of me. Okay, bro, you haven't done crap. You shut your mouth.
I
will at least admit,
Smith picked in front of him?
Yes.
I don't think that was a mistake.
Yeah, I don't think
that was a mistake. But I will at least admit that Josh Rosen probably hasn't gotten a fair chance. Because then he was traded to the team that drafted Tua.
This is my moment.
You just
2 days later
jumped from franchise quarterback or future franchise quarterback to future franchise quarterback. I would like to think he's been humbled a little bit, and this is a promising opportunity for him. AJ McCarron's the same deal. At one point it looked like AJ McCarron might take over for Andy Dalton in Cincinnati. And then you thought maybe he's going to take over and be the starter in Buffalo because Buffalo hadn't had someone. But then they drafted Josh Allen. The trade never happened.
Yeah.
And then he found himself as a backup in Vegas/Oakland.
And Derek Carr's just a tank.
And Derek Carr is just not going anywhere because he's Derek Carr is a good quarterback.
But he doesn't get hurt. I'm looking at the same thing as
outside of his crazy broken leg, he doesn't get hurt.
Because you look at guys like Aaron Rodgers. Like, what's the point of having like a solid backup quarterback when you know he's most likely going to play almost every game? So it's like, all right, we're not going to have that.
I mean, he broke his collarbone that 1 year.
He's been injured. He's at the injury bug lately.
Yeah. I feel like
the point
lately,
is,
but still,
for these two guys, AJ McCarron and Josh Rosen, this is a good opportunity.
And
Jacoby Brissett is a very that's definitely someone that these two guys, if they play well, can be the starter over him.
Could take it.
Jacoby Brissett's not like a incumbent starting quarterback.
Yeah.
He's been a fringe guy. He's a hold the place while someone develops or someone comes off of injury. Outside of his 1 year as the lone starter in Indianapolis, he's pretty much bounced around wherever our starter's hurt for a long time. We need someone who can hold it down until he's back.
Should have got Ty God Taylor.
I
like Brissett. I'm not trying to slam him or anything, but I think AJ McCarron has the potential to start over Brissett. Josh Rosen, we truly know nothing about him. He's barely played.
And when he was on Arizona, he played for. That was before the Arizona became Arizona what they are.
Yeah, no, he was on Arizona when they went to have the first overall pick the next season.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but it definitely sends the message that the Browns are kind of expecting no Deshaun next year.
No, yeah, they are. If they're literally looking at other options,
yes,
he is not playing.
Right. Which I think is stupid because you have to look at that situation and be prepared for that. And you burned Baker, so you knew Baker wasn't going to be. They're like, oh, I'll step in and fill the void to just get replaced.
Right, that was never going to happen.
I think
any other T's in there.
We're empty. My bad.
Shame.
Next time, more.
But
let's could have went and got a guy like Drew Lock. They could have just traded Baker straight up for him or got something else. They could have got a guy like Tyrod Taylor, who's like a little bit more established as being a backup.
Yeah, I think
than
Jacoby
that.
and Tyrod are mostly comparable.
Yeah. But
Tyrod
it's
just
like
has a little bit more experience.
But I feel like now they're grasping for like, let's try to find like a needle in the haystack.
It
flash in the pan for 6 games because hopefully it's only 6 or 7.
This is you're not going and bringing on a third quarterback between one of these two. Like these are two guys that are backups. They're not you don't practice squad either of them.
No.
So those are two guys that you're expecting to at the very least be the backup to your quarterback, which means you're expecting Deshaun Watson to not play.
Yeah.
But keeping on the quarterback conversation, Lamar Jackson, as we all know, famously now has not been given a contract extension, whereas everyone else in that draft has.
Yep.
With the exception of Baker. Baker was the same draft, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, because Lamar was the 4th one taken. It went Baker, Darnold, Allen, Lamar, right?
Yep, I think so.
So the Ravens have been I don't follow the contract negotiations there, but I don't think there's really much going on. The Ravens have adopted the finish your rookie contract and we'll see kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Which Kyler Murray just signed a massive $30 million extension, 169 guaranteed, 160 guaranteed. Mass for Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Did you say something?
No.
5 year.
Oh,
I've just been saying.
I thought you said 4. So,
No.
But so, I don't
know what happens in the NFL. I just stay quiet.
We're seeing guys who are getting Josh Allen. Last year signed a big extension.
Yep.
Mahomes last year.
Mahomes signed a massive one. Like we're seeing a lot of guys who are signing long extensions before their rookie contract is up. Kyler Murray's got 2 years on his rookie contract still, and Josh Allen signed when he had 2 years left as well. Same with Mahomes. Mahomes, I think this year is his first year of the new contract going into effect.
Yeah.
So the Ravens are doing what no one else is doing and giving and not giving the extension out before the rookie contract is up. Now I feel like Lamar Jackson should have he has the case for an extension.
Exactly. Like he's played well.
He's earned it. I'm not going to dictate what a player is worth, but he's worth at least what Kyler Murray got.
Well, that's my whole thing.
Right?
Is
I would say more.
How do you judge it?
At least. He's at least worth that. He's done more than Kyler Murray.
Yeah. If you're judging it, Kyler Murray has never played in a playoff game, and he's on a stacked team.
He did play in a playoff game. Hasn't won a playoff game.
Hasn't won a playoff game.
Yeah, he played last year though.
Lamar Jackson has won a playoff game.
He's won MVP.
But if you look at it too, you're like, okay, Lamar Jackson has been having injury problems the last 2 years. But also, if you don't extend him, when is another guy like Lamar Jackson going to come into the NFL?
Yeah, like Lamar Jackson is truly what you he is a great example of generational talent.
Yep.
The only guy I come slightly close to comparing to, he's not at this level yet, but he's a Michael Vick level talent. Michael Vick has such a better arm, but also later in his career, if Lamar Jackson turns into just half of his arm potential, you're not going to see another one of those for 10, 15 years.
Like these guys these kinds of quarterbacks, these kind of players don't come around often.
And also you got to think Lamar Jackson has no receiver help.
He's not. I would say they're the only team with worse wide receivers than the Bears.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially now.
His running backs,
and
his running backs aren't much better than Josh Allen's, and that's Josh Allen gets
hopefully
J.K.
Dobbins.
I think he will be. He will be.
But the Ravens' offense is a very heavy run system.
Yeah.
But they use a lot of options. They run a lot of college style stuff with Lamar. They use Lamar Jackson very well. But like you said, they give his arm, which last year I feel like he took a positive step with his throwing ability. If he continues to develop that, you can't let him go.
No,
you'd be foolish really to let him go. He's just he is truly generational.
And the fact that you have not reached an agreement.
You haven't reached an agreement, whether it's because, I don't follow it closely, but I don't even feel like there's really been much talks going on.
No, it really hasn't.
It's really just been finish out we'll see how you're looking at the end of your rookie deal. And Lamar's like, okay, yeah, we will see how I'm looking. I feel like both sides are just like, this is what we're doing and whatever. Because usually players get disgruntled with this stuff. You hear nothing of Lamar getting disgruntled with that. He might be a little upset with we know he was upset with trading Malcolm Brown.
Hollywood Brown?
Yes.
Marquise Brown.
Did I say Malcolm?
Marquise
Brown. My bad.
I was like, I know it's just Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Marquise Brown. My bad. But you gotta extend him if you're the Ravens. You'd be foolish not to.
Especially when you're getting
careful to not burn the bridge.
Yeah, you're getting to this point where like Le'Veon Bell literally left a good situation for him in Pittsburgh. He had good receivers, he had a good offense, he had a great defensive team, but left because he's like, guess what? I'm going to get paid. I don't even care how my career turns out, but I might get hurt soon. And then he just tanked in his career. Lamar Jackson's going to be like, you literally give me the ball 80 times a game, and I'm getting chased down by Myles Garrett twice a year, TJ Watt twice a year. Freaking, I'm playing the Bengals twice a year. Where
Trey Hendrickson,
Joe Burrow's throwing for 40 points, so I got to score as much as he's scoring.
Yeah.
And then I got to go up against the Steelers, which are always just going to try to kill me at any point.
And also I'm our entire offensive production. So
yeah, outside of Mark Andrews.
So it's like at a certain,
at least he's got Mark Andrews.
At a certain point, you're going to be like, all right, I'm just going to not play because I'm going to get hurt. And guess what? Another random team out there who doesn't have a good quarterback, like the Seahawks,
surround me with stuff.
Will pay just as much as they paid Russell Wilson for many years.
Yeah.
And I'll be perfectly fine. I don't care even if I go there and I suck because I'll get paid to where I'm not going to ruin my life.
But throughout this, he reports to minicamp.
No, Lamar Jackson,
honestly, I
like Lamar Jackson's attitude.
Yes.
And I think he is he's like a professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to show up to minicamp and everything. How many years do guys hold out on this kind of stuff? Aaron Rodgers held out last year.
Yeah.
Scumbag, piece of crap. Hate him in his greasy little hair with his stinky girlfriend.
New girlfriend now.
No, they're back together.
They're back together again?
Shailene Woodley, right? They're back together.
Yeah.
I've been broke up for a while.
Stinky girl. Anyways, no, Lamar Jackson's a true professional. So, I have a ton of respect for him. I hope he earns his money. He's earned it. I hope the Ravens give it to him.
That's his
chip
from being a Louisville quarterback. People think he didn't go to a big enough school, and then two, everyone still thinks he's just a running back.
Yeah, I think he earned. Last year, he really broke away from that run. I'm only a running quarterback.
Yeah, he threw for a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's still questions because he sometimes lacks accuracy, but that doesn't change the fact that he should be signing at least an extension similar to Kyler Murray.
And the fact that
5-year. $230 million, 160 guaranteed, and has accomplished half of what Lamar has.
Lamar has MVP under his belt.
A 14-2 season.
Yeah, does not have nearly as good wide receiver help as Kyler Murray has.
Injured number one running back.
Yeah, and
they're playing on pickups during the waiver wire pickups. They were a fantasy offense last year. Just picking up guys as they went along.
You were in the fantasy thing like, who the heck is this guy? Oh, he plays for Baltimore. He's running back. That's why.
Cool. Yeah, no, it just... But the Kyler Murray extension, let's talk about that one. Cardinals, they gave him the money after all the talk about how he might leave. He's dissatisfied. He's gonna leave and go and join the MLB and just play in the MLB. All this stuff, yada, yada, yada. So you paid $230 million, essentially $160 since that's all that's guaranteed. Anything after that's considered, bonus in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you pay him that for what? A dude who's going to get you to 9-8, 10-7 in a loss at the wild card round?
On a team that he was on last year, that money's not worth it. I think Kyler Murray's a great quarterback, but would the Cardinals have paid Tua that much money? No. And I feel like Tua's now this year is going to have...
Tua has no excuse.
In a certain offense where he's like, you have no excuse. Now show up what you want. Kyler Murray just had that offense, and he kind of didn't do great.
They fell off at the end of the year.
Not the best running back in the world, but also good enough.
At this point, it's either it's Cliff Kingsbury that is hurting them so much that he can't, that Kyler Murray can't excel, or Kyler's just not that good.
Well, Kyler's very good. Cliff Kingsbury just sucks.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I love to rip into some Cliff Kingsbury, bro.
How much they fell apart. I'm starting to blame.
They
probably listen to the podcast.
It was the Packers game, Nick, where you were the only one who picked the Packers. The Packers solved them.
No, it was Detroit.
Oh, that happened after the Packers game.
Yeah.
Oh, it did? No.
I said
the first loss for the Cardinals.
I said the Cardinals. I said the Cardinals are not that good of a team, and you and Andrew both looked at me and were like, "Oh my gosh, you're so stupid." And I'm like,
granted, they were also an AJ Green bad play in the end zone away from a win.
That's true.
So take it with a grain of salt.
But still, against a team that had no wide receivers.
The Cardinals fell off hard last year.
They did, and Detroit beat them.
And then I don't even remember what their playoff game was like, but I know they didn't win.
They got destroyed by the Rams.
There it is. Yes.
Absolutely destroyed.
Cardinals, you pay the money, and I don't think you're going to be able to succeed very much because of it, because your coach is a bum. Your quarterback is good, but you just aren't going to have the money to continue to surround him.
No, that's true.
But he does have talent right now. D-Hop, and he's got Hollywood Brown.
Zach Ertz still there?
Right? I don't know I don't know if he.
I thought Zach Ertz had one more year after.
He might. To be honest, I'm not familiar with his contract situation. I think AJ Green was a 1-year contract.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
your defense is okay. Like they have the talent right now because they're still on his rookie contract for another 2 years, I believe. So you can live off of his rookie contract. When this new extension goes into effect, though, your window right now, if you're the Cardinals, your window is 3 years.
Yep.
You have 3 years.
Yeah.
After that, the Kyler Murray contract is going to be a hurdle to get over.
And it's going to be like the Chiefs, where they had no defense and they had to wait a year, put pieces together to get enough money to then put defense together. So now we compete in NFL again.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
So we'll see how it plays out for the Cardinals. Congrats to you, Kyler Murray.
Got the bag.
Cliff Kingsbury. Bum.
Jeez.
Bum.
I agree with you.
I love to rip
Shit
into
bag.
Cliff Kingsbury. No, barely any winning seasons in his entire career.
Well, last year.
Overpaid.
Well, yeah, but he's also
He's just a good looking white dude. That's all he's got.
Lovely house. Though.
Yeah, with an insane house.
I'm aware he got that house because he's a good looking white dude.
Insane house.
Big
So
Cat
good.
Big Cat said it best, dude. Cliff Kingsbury is just a good looking white dude.
I'm jealous.
Overrated.
I'm jealous of that house.
What
He'll
about
be-
Matt? What
he'll
about
be-
Matt LaFleur?
Cliff Kingsbury will be fired.
Fair.
Cliff Kingsbury will be fired before Murray's 5-year extension goes into effect.
Dang.
That's my prediction.
Is that your hot take?
I already gave my hot take. I don't even remember what it was because we didn't get to write it on the board. But
Yeah,
sure, this will be it now. Cliff Kingsbury's fired in 2 years.
Okay.
So we got to keep this going for 2 years.
Okay.
So that's a long-term hot take, I guess.
Yeah.
But
That's all right. You can always have two on. I have two on the board right now.
that's true. We
I
got
got Michael Kopech winning Cy Young, which is not going to happen now, and I got the Dolphins
his ERA.
win the division.
His ERA was helping him, but he just wasn't getting the wins.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we'll. Do we really want to talk about the Bears? It's just depressing.
Yeah, true.
Pretty good.
N'Keal Harry's on the
N'Keal
team.
Harry,
That's cool.
7th round pick, 2024 draft. Not
Yeah.
bad. Take it.
It's a
Dude,
win-win.
Take the risk on him.
You literally can't lose on
Yeah.
that one.
Can't lose.
The Bears
We
aren't
talked
going to win the
about it
playoffs this
briefly.
year. They're not going to win it next year. So let's see what he has for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna.
This is last year on his contract.
You gave up a 7th round pick, not the next draft, but the following draft. You figure he's going to contribute at least as much as a 7th round pick in 2024.
Yep, true.
Really, what else is there to say on it?
True.
Bears are going to be bad. Justin Fields, poor guy. Feel bad for him.
Hopefully he.
Takes a step
Yeah,
somehow.
that's
I just
all
want
we
to see him
hope.
take a step. I don't really care about their record.
Yeah,
I want to see that Justin Fields looks like an NFL quarterback.
Yep, that's about it.
Good ball placement, reading the defense, not crazy, freaked out under pressure. Hopefully the O-line holds up enough to where he can develop that
Yep.
pocket presence. But whatever. That's really all I'm looking for. I don't really care about their record.
5 or 6 wins with a good touchdown interception ratio for Justin Fields. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Because
I'll ta- and
you're
I'll
not
take
going to make the
N'Keal
playoffs
Harry.
anyway.
If N'Keal Harry can throw up 600 plus yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns,
That's
you
a
win
win.
on the trade.
That's
You
a
win on the trade
100%
right
win
away.
trade. Yeah.
So
Or if he just runs good routes, maybe not great stats, and you just have a chance to re-sign him because you're like, all right, he's not that good, and you keep him for a little
Yeah.
bit,
And
get
you know
him
what?
used to the system.
or he's really
Honestly-
good in run blocking. So what? That's good.
He's a number one in run
He's
blocking.
number
Yeah,
one
true.
rated run blocking receiver.
Honestly, at this point, if he doesn't get arrested like all our other receivers,
It's a win.
that's a win. That's a
It's
win. David
not even
Moore
receivers, players.
Yeah, players.
For
So-
me, the big thing for Justin Fields is build up some chemistry because I feel like he really doesn't have any. His college teammates were too good to where he wasn't able, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, where they were able to come back together. So it's he can't really reunite with a college teammate.
He's got good chemistry with
But it's
Mooney, though.
it's
Yeah,
just
he does. He really
keep
does.
Mooney around if he really likes N'Keal Harry. Spend a little bit money, even if he's overpaid. But if Justin Fields like him, keep him. Hopefully he meshes well with Cole Kmet
Yeah, I
because
was
I
going to
think
say that's the big one.
Cole
If
Kmet-
can connect.
if Cole
You're
Kmet can just be like Justin Herbert's tight ends, where it's he's always there, just throw it to
Reliable,
him.
yeah.
It might be a 4 or 5 yard completion, but it's hey, percentage. Let's keep it.
I want to see him establish chemistry with Kmet, continue to build his chemistry with Mooney, and I want to see N'Keal Harry put up 4 touchdowns, 600 plus yards, and that will be, in my opinion, a successful season for the direction of your offense.
Yeah, bar is super low.
Bars,
Yeah.
It can't get lower.
Really
which is
literally
good
it would
for
be in my
him,
crawl
and-
space if it was any lower.
which is big for what I said last year was I really didn't care if he started that much because I felt like Bears fans were still putting too much pressure on last year because the defense was still good.
And they're still putting that pressure
The
on.
offense was okay, but it was just like, you're going to put Justin Fields out there. He's not going to do well, and people are going to want his head because it's his fault.
Oh yeah, I already know.
It fell to Nagy, which I'm glad it did. So now Justin Fields starts off now, and everyone's like, every reasonable Bears fan is like, bar is low. You don't have to succeed in the win column. Just succeed on the field.
I already know people who are like, he's a bust. He's not going to work out.
Okay, yeah.
My thing, and I said this with some friends and family like a week ago, every rookie quarterback gets 3 years before you determine what he's going to be as a starter.
True.
You know, you can't hold last year against Justin Fields. He's on a bad team. This year, he's going to be on an equally, if not worse, team. You want to see steps in the right direction. The hope is that the Bears do right by Justin Fields going into next offseason when they have over $120 million in cap space.
And get good pieces around.
But a quarterback is, even great quarterbacks are only as good as what their system is.
Yeah. Yep.
Is Patrick Mahomes what he is if he's on the Bears, for example?
Probably not.
He's probably still decent, but he's not face of the league.
Yeah,
right?
no, yeah.
Like, is he still what he is if he's on what's a really bad team?
Texans?
The Texans.
No.
Exactly.
And that's where you have your generational guys who are going to be good on a lot of teams. Like, I feel like Aaron Rodgers is a guy who can throw to really bad wide receivers. So as long as he's on a team that he can score 3 or 4 touchdowns and they're not giving up 50 points, he has a chance.
Right.
Tom Brady.
We'll see this year.
We'll see this year. But like Tom Brady's a guy who, like, on a like, I'm not saying every single team because I don't think anyone can really be good on the Texans if we just put him on the Texans. But if you can go to like 5 or 6 different teams and be the same player that means you're a high quality player. Mahomes is close to that, but I don't know for sure.
But the difference is, like, the reason I use Mahomes and not like Rodgers or Brady is because I'm saying, like, if they developed, and their career was coming up in what Justin Fields is inheriting, or what Davis Mills, because I guess he's the guy in Houston, but Davis Mills is inheriting, like that kind of stuff. If you're inheriting a dumpster fire, you can only expect so much from a guy in his development, which is why it's important. All I want to see is development on the offensive side of the ball with Fields. I expect the defense to struggle for the most part because they parted with a lot of guys who Eddie Goldman retired kind of seemingly out of nowhere, but he signed with the Falcons. Either way, it's just, I want to see the development. That's really all I care about because I don't expect the Bears to win more than 6 games.
Yep.
So all right. That's
Nick, about it. Nick, hit us with your question of the week.
Yeah. So my question of the week is kind of an opinion of like if you guys believe this or not, but I guess you can also take it how you want. Mm-hmm. So I was watching an MLB draft, which is kind of like really boring to watch because it's 20 rounds. But my dad's cousin had a chance of being drafted. Well, his second cousin, his cousin's younger kid. So I was kind of just flipping through, seeing who teams were picking. I think that the MLB is one of the lowest pressure drafts, but also one of the most insane, like, strategically drafts to figure out. Because really, if you're looking at it outside of the first round, you're not drafting for this year. You're almost drafting for 7 years in advance. Because my whole thing was the Mariners need left-handed pitchers. So in the first round, who they draft? A shortstop. J.P. Crawford is probably, for sure, in my opinion, a top 5 shortstop.
He's there long term.
So he's going to be there for 6 or 7 years. So why are you getting a shortstop?
Was he a high schooler?
Fair enough.
There you go.
Or no, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Bobby's bladder failed him.
He wasn't actually, he was a college guy, but a young college guy. But my whole thing is like how, like, because normally you look at a quarterback, like if you have Patrick Mahomes in your first round, unless you're the Packers and you're stupid and you take Jordan Love, you're not going to do that.
Right.
But also, you can't trade draft picks in the MLB. So, like, that's a position where, like, I'm stuck with this pick, and if I don't take a guy here, I don't have another pick for 30 picks. So it's just so weird because, like, you look at the Sox. The Sox had Jose Abreu and then took Andrew Vaughn, Gavin Sheets. They took another first baseman.
Gavin Sheets has been in their system for a couple of years.
No, I know, but like within like 3 or 4 years, already having Jose Abreu, they all took first baseman. So it's like,
well, I think they expected Abreu's production to dip with his age, and it really hasn't. Because even this year, he's already found himself back to hitting around 300 with good RBI totals and stuff. the MLB draft, and it's weird with any sport that's more of like a prospect draft, which is primarily MLB, NHL.
Yeah.
Those are really the only two drafts where like you're the guy you take in the first round might not be on your professional roster for that next season.
Yeah.
You know, the MLB, Andrew Vaughn and Garrett Crochet had quick roads to the MLB, but not a lot of guys do. Mike Trout spent 2 years in the minors, you know, but then Bryce Harper made his debut right away.
Yeah.
You know, it's so tricky with the MLB draft and the NHL draft, but we'll stick with MLB because that was more so what you highlighted. It's just a confusing draft.
Well,
because almost none of those guys are ready for the MLB.
And it's also weird too, because like in the NFL, you're not going to draft Jordan Love as a quarterback, and then all of a sudden within 2 or 3 years, going to be your safety. But in the MLB, you will draft a shortstop who might in 7 years be called up to the MLB and be your starting pitcher. But you're drafting a catcher,
going to be your center fielder,
and he's being your center fielder. Where you're like, that doesn't make any sense because catcher's slow position, and now boom, center fielder.
Like position changes are very common. Like perfect example. You know, not to keep sounding like a Chicago homer, Andrew Vaughn had never played the outfield since Little League. Makes his MLB debut at left field.
Yeah.
What? Like that's something that the MLB draft is so confusing.
Which is like, is it a little bit more confusing to
Welcome back, Bob.
I'm back.
For the fact that
You
you can't trade draft? Like, does that come into factor? Because like imagine you can't trade any picks. Now the Bears can't trade a pick to get Khalil Mack in the first place.
See,
So
that's
it's
the
like
thing.
now if you get Khalil Mack through a different trade, you're trading your other younger guys or whatever. Now you have Khalil Mack, and now the Bears are third, and they already have a good quarterback. They have a good wide receiver. They have good defense. Are you just going to take another guy who you're like, all right, I'm going to develop him for the next 5 years, or do you go pick a position that this guy might be 20th on the board, but you can't pick him until 35th, so you have to go 20 rounds. You have to go 20 spots ahead. It's just such a weird thing that you can't trade draft picks. And
Well,
also,
no, it's not weird because the MLB has 20 rounds.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they
Over
also have
500 players get
they
drafted.
have what is it called? Like experience, like league leveling, where like after the first round happens, the bottom 8 teams from like 3 years ago get 8 picks, and then the second round starts.
Yeah, see,
because
yeah,
the Mariners got the 22nd pick or 24th pick. They were right around when the Sox picked. Then after the 30 teams picked, then 9 teams, which the Mariners were in because the Mariners were absolute crap 2 years ago. Then the Mariners picked, and then the Orioles got to pick again, or whoever it was get to pick again.
I'm going to be honest with you, Nick. You're talking me in a circle right now with this.
Sorry.
I'm struggling to follow you now. But so it's all like not trading draft picks. It's weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in the MLB, with how many players are eligible for the draft and how much uncertainty exists because the pool of players available to pick from is so much larger than any other sport. 20 rounds, over 500 people can get drafted. There nowhere in any of that, and it's the same way with every sport, but more so the MLB, is any single one of those players any kind of guarantee. You know, usually in the NFL, there's 7 rounds, 256 players get drafted, something like that. Much smaller pool of guys to pick from. You can only pick college players. Like they have to meet eligibility to be in the draft.
Yeah.
Right. So you can only pick those guys. NBA's 2 rounds. You can only pick between 2 rounds. So that's 64 guys you can pick from. Or is it 60?
60.
60. So you can only pick from 60 guys and then a couple free agents that don't get drafted. NHL is only 7 rounds as well. And so the point is the pool of talent in the MLB, because of how vast it is, you really don't know what you're getting, and none of them are going to be ready right away. Very few of them are, at least.
Yeah.
And the
so,
only
like,
sport where guys can say, no, I'm going back to college.
Yeah, and so, like, it diminishes the value of your draft pick. You know, the reason you can trade a first-round pick in the NFL is because more likely than not, that guy is going to be an immediate factor within the next 2 or 3 years. In the MLB, like you said, Nick, you can draft someone first overall. Adley Rutschman, drafted first overall before Andrew Vaughn, took 2 more years to come into the MLB.
Yeah.
Right. You can draft a guy who sits in the minor leagues. There's a relief pitcher who made his debut. He's 29 years old. He was the 14th overall pick in 2013. I don't even remember his name. Made his MLB debut this year.
Yep.
Like there's so much less of a guarantee that comes with an MLB draft pick. Like their picks have way less value. I don't like it. In the MLB, outside of your top 10 picks, really, there's a chance like no one you pick makes it to the MLB.
Yeah. Which is so weird because it's like, it's such a stressless pick because no one's going to grill you if you go, Kevin Durant or Greg Oden, like have people have and then same with the NFL where it's like, really, you traded up to get Mitch Trubisky to Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, whoa. Let's leave Mitch out of this.
But also, there's guys in there who will draft in the first round, go back to college, go in the draft next year. Now you're 5 picks back, you miss out on them.
Yeah.
But also, you can pick a whole 20 rounds of draft picks and never see a single one of those guys. Like
that's why I believe that's why they don't trade draft picks. That's why prospects are so valuable.
Yeah.
Because those are guys that's essentially your draft picks, right?
Yeah.
Julio Rodriguez is if he was a trade piece, he's the equivalent as giving up a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Because you trade for guys that their value. And in the MLB, you don't know someone's value until a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's so hard to judge how good they're going to be because I truly believe the transition from college or even high school, because high schoolers get drafted, but the transition from amateur to pro in the MLB is the most drastic change out of any sport.
Yeah.
NBA, most of the guys you play against in college, the guys who are going to get drafted, they're playing against other guys who are going to get drafted. Like you will cross paths at some point, whether it's in March or just in like regular season play. You're going to cross paths with those guys. NFL, exact same thing.
Yeah.
If you're a D1 player, you're playing other D1 guys.
You're Georgia
those
playing
guys
against Alabama. 90% of that 90% of that game is going to the NFL.
Right there, like that's pretty much most of the first round is those two teams. You know what I mean? So like you're playing against other talent that's ready. MLB, you can go so long before you face a guy who's an MLB talent. Like those guys who sit in the minor leagues, and then Jake DeGrom comes in his minor league rehab assignment. They've never seen Jake DeGrom. Nothing even close to that. And this is their first time seeing it, and they get it for one game. It's just the development is so much different. That's why that's why prospects have value more than draft picks. That's why draft picks can't be traded. Because think about it. I want Juan Soto. I would gladly, as an MLB GM, I'd be like, yeah, you can have my first round pick for the next 5 years. You might never see those guys make it to the MLB, but I got Juan Soto who's ready right now. That's the thought process. Yeah. Like the draft picks have so much less value because of how many more variables, how many more factors come into play for a guy to make it to the MLB versus the NFL or the NBA.
Yeah.
So would you say
even the NHL?
So like, I guess we kind of talked about everything. That's why I was like more opinion or through the question. Mm-hmm. So like we could just do NFL versus MLB. Is it more stressful to be picking an NFL draft pick
100%
or MLB draft pick? Because you can have instant success with your guy, but in 7 years, if you haven't made good draft picks in the MLB, now your farm system's trash. Now you can't get any good players, and you can't get any new players.
The thing is, the MLB is the way the system is in the MLB. You can make up for that in free agency. Teams will pay the luxury tax if it's going to put a good team on the field.
Yeah.
You can make up, like, the thing is, just like you said, you have 20, you have bad first round picks for 7 years, but you still had 19 other picks that you got to make that can hit. I like to bring up Danny Mendick, 17th round pick. He contributes at the MLB level. He's injured now, but he contributes.
He's injured. That's his whole team.
No, but like
90% of your team.
There's tons of guys out there that, and in the MLB, you can
pull the quad run to first base.
In the MLB, you can draft like crap, but you have international free agents that you get to sign.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani was an international free agent.
Seiya Suzuki, international free agent.
Those are guys who could go in the first round of the MLB draft, but because they're international free agents, they don't have to be drafted. You just got to sign them.
Yeah.
So there's so many more avenues to make up for bad drafting in the MLB, whereas the NFL, you're going to feel the weight of bad draft picks
immediately,
pretty quickly.
Like I said,
you pretty much can survive if you have a good team, you can survive 2 years of bad drafts before it kind of starts to catch up. Because the NFL is so heavily based on building around a rookie quarterback contract.
Yeah.
I just look at it as I think it'd be interesting to see Bears versus Cubs, because I feel like their teams are almost in the same spot where it's like they're pretty trash. They have a couple bright spots, but really not many. And then we'll see if the drafts pan out, because the Cubs are targeting 2027 right now with Theo. I don't know what the Bears are targeting.
Bears, I think, are targeting 2024.
So it's
to be honest, 2024 is. So
it's It's 3 years closer and only 2 years away from now.
But that's the difference in the design, like the way talent develops and everything.
But next 2023 draft, if they have a really shitty draft, they'll just bump 2024 right out the window. They'll be going back even farther.
But their window is the Justin Fields rookie contract. That's how it is for every MLB team, for the most part. You want to win on your rookie. The current method is your rookie quarterback contract. That's how you can afford to sign big free agents around them. And then you hope that by the time it comes time to pay them a lot and their contract holds you back, they've developed into someone who can overcome that.
That makes sense.
It's a completely different game in the MLB.
Because you have 7 years, as we talked about last week.
Yeah, 7 years. You got 7 years. The guy can't even try to sign somewhere else for 7 years.
Julio Rodriguez is going to be paid $425,000 for the next 6 years.
You can do anything. It's so much more open. That's why. But draft picks, because of that, are so much less valuable than the.
But apparently, Kyler Murray is going to come and just sign up right up for that.
No,
he's gonna turn down $160 million guaranteed to get $400,000 for the next 7 years.
But I agree, there is way less pressure MLB draft.
Well, you have so many more rounds, but also it's like my whole thing is you don't want to be that scout that your last 20 picks from the last 7 years have never made it. You're just like, oh,
right. But there's so many more ways to cover up and make up for that in the MLB than the NFL.
I think to a point, and then there's not.
Sure, but for the most part, I mean, come on. Here, let's use the White Sox. They're such a great example of all of this. Their farm system sucked when their team back in 2016, when they had Chris Sale, Jose Quintana, freaking Adam Dunn or whatever his name, Adam LaRoche. Like they had no farm.
Todd Frazier.
Todd Frazier. I forgot all about him. But like back when their only notable prospect was Tim Anderson. They had crap. So they weren't drafting very well outside of Chris Sale, really. They drafted like crap. So what did they do? They traded Chris Sale, Jose Quintana. Suddenly the White Sox have the second best minor league system in the entire MLB. Now all these guys are up. None of them were their own draft picks. Luis Robert was a free agent signing, international free agent signing, which I hinted at. Andrew Vaughn really was their only good pick. Nick Madrigal's not on the team. But by that time, the White Sox had already recovered their minor league system, and they did it just by trading good pieces. So even if you're a bad team that can't draft, usually the odds are that you will at least have someone good who can get you enough prospects to make up for it. Yeah. That doesn't really exist in the NFL.
I think it's also hard to just pure longevity wise. Besides Tom Brady, no one's playing 20 years. There's two guys who are in the All-Star game, Albert Pujols and Miggy, who have both been playing for 20 years.
Yeah, they're pushing. Pujols is 42, Miggy's 39.
Yeah.
So it's just like they're different sports. The pressure's way higher on the NFL because there's less ways to cover your ass when you mess up.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's my whole thing.
And there's less position changing too. I feel like that helps. If you could be like, oh, we drafted a shortstop, but we can put him in right field. Fernando Tatis, for example.
Yes.
You're taking a stud. You're not
actually, Fernando Tatis, another great example. White Sox traded him
for James Shields.
But that was another thing. No, that was just it. They gave up someone else with Tatis for James Shields. It was pretty much. But whatever. Tim Anderson's an all-star. You kind of live with it because Tim Anderson is developed into a very good shortstop.
But could you imagine if the Bears came out and were like, we're going to move Darnell Mooney to free safety? Because
it doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't.
But there's such different sports. It's so difficult to compare.
When I was watching the draft, I just think about that because I'm like waiting for the Mariners pick to come in. Like I really wanted to be my dad's cousin, but he wasn't going to get drafted in the first 10 rounds anyway. Mm-hmm. But I was like, all right, well, we need a stud left-handed pitcher, shortstop. I was like,
they're drafting for long term. Like that's
it's just so weird because you're never going to see that in the NFL where it's
you're like they drafted for J.P. Crawford's replacement in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
that's what it was. But that's part of it is like you just draft guys that will hopefully in 3 years be ready to make it to AAA.
True. Cubs drafted a lot of pitchers.
That's good.
Cubs had a decent draft, but
Yeah.
we don't need to dive into that. We've rambled on enough, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap up the show there, guys. As always, thank you for tuning in with us. If you like what you heard, please give us a follow on social media. All of it is linked in our website, garagetalksports.com. As always, we like talking with you guys, and we're looking forward to talking to you next week.
See ya.
See ya.